Chapter 46-44. Lin Gongzi is proficient in the art of stone identification. Can you tell which immortal source stone is sealed in which sacred spirit? One of the prodigies asked. Everyone's eyes lit up as they looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "That sacred spirit from the stone tribe is very powerful. As of now, I can't detect where it is hiding." Everyone couldn't help but mutter in their hearts. Perhaps Lin Feng wouldn't say anything even if he detected it? In their opinion, since Lin Feng was proficient in the art of stone identification, he must have sensed something. The stone tribe's sacred spirit must have extraordinary means. Therefore, it's very difficult to find it using ordinary stone identification techniques. If you want to find it, you'll need some luck. Hualingxian said. Yes, you'll need some luck. Everyone here has the same chance of finding it. Nangong Muley said. The surrounding cultivators discussed animatedly. Everyone gradually spread out to search for the immortal source stone that the stone tribe's sacred spirit was hiding in. The top prodigies and fairies also spread out and entered different courtyards to search for the immortal source stone that the sacred spirit might be hiding in. Naturally, they hoped to find the immortal source stone that the sacred spirit was hiding in. Every prodigy and fairy was very interested in the holy spirit of the Stone Clan. After the surrounding people dispersed, Ning Xinwu said, "You're actually the Sinner's Blood Emperor, Lin Feng. You even lied to me that your name is Ji. You're really infuriating." Lin Feng said, "Ji is my mother's surname. It's also my other name. Therefore, I didn't lie to you." After hearing Lin Feng's explanation, Ning Xinwu couldn't help but snort a few times. However, the anger in her heart subsided. Lin Feng said, "That's why you shouldn't be amazed when you see those top prodigies. That's because the man beside you is even more powerful than them." "Hee, you're powerful. You're the most powerful," Ning Xinwu said with a smile. Let's go to the other courtyards and see if we can find any clues," Lin Feng said. Ning Xinwu nodded and walked towards another courtyard with Lin Feng. As soon as they entered a courtyard, waves of violent fluctuations came from the depths of the courtyard. The sounds of venting shook the heavens, because there was definitely something good that was about to appear. Such an intense fluctuation. Could it be that the Holy Spirit has been found? A cultivator said. It's really possible. Another cultivator added. This courtyard was very large and was considered to be a relatively high-class courtyard. Not everyone could enter this courtyard. Only those with status were qualified to enter. Now, the geniuses and fairies of the other courtyards, including many white-haired elders, had all arrived. Let's go and take a look. Ning Xinwu was a very lively person, so she hurriedly ran towards the direction of the stone cutting. Lin Feng also followed. The cultivator cutting the stone was a white-haired old man. Someone pointed out the identity of this old man. It was said that he was a hidden expert of a mysterious hidden family. His strength was unfathomable. The stone he was cutting was a crouching ox stone. The stone looked like an old bull lying on the ground. The crouching ox stone became famous because of this. The crouching ox stone was 5 meters long and 2 meters tall. This immortal origin stone was worth 1.25 million immortal stones. It was very expensive. However, after only 3 cuts, there were already powerful fluctuations coming from it. Clearly, this crouching ox stone was extraordinary. No wonder so many people thought that this crouching ox stone might really produce the Holy Spirit. If the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan was really cut out at that time, it would definitely cause quite a commotion. The old man was very skilled at cutting the stone. The stone-cutting knife in his hand spun like a butterfly weaving through flowers. Pieces of the stone fell off. The old man must have cut a lot of stones in his daily life. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so skilled. As the stone was continuously cut off, the fluctuations coming from the immortal origin stone became more and more intense. This made people feel shocked. Many people felt more and more that perhaps the Holy Spirit could be cut out from this immortal origin stone. The immortal origin stone continued to shrink. Before long, it had shrunk to half its original size. However, the Holy Spirit was still nowhere to be seen. "The fluctuations have disappeared," a cultivator said. Indeed, the fluctuations really had disappeared. The old man's expression turned ugly. He knew very well what the disappearance of the fluctuations meant. The old man increased the speed at which he was cutting the stone. Not long after, a crisp sound was heard from the stone-cutting knife. No one knew what he had cut. He cut something. I wonder what it is. Many people couldn't help but wonder. Now, they naturally didn't think that it was the Holy Spirit. If it was, the fluctuations wouldn't have disappeared so quickly. In the end, the old man cut out the object. To everyone's surprise, it was indeed a Holy Spirit. However, it was a Holy Spirit that was in the process of being born. It wasn't a stone man, but a stone crocodile. Lin Feng was a knowledgeable person, but this was his first time seeing a stone crocodile. Any Holy Spirit that was born would be extremely heaven-defying. There was still a trace of life in the stone crocodile's body that hadn't dissipated. Clearly, it hadn't been long since it died. It must have just died. This made Lin Feng extremely surprised. It really is a Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. Is it the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan who said that I want the heavens to no longer cover my eyes and the earth to no longer bury my heart? A cultivator asked, puzzled. It shouldn't be. That Holy Spirit wasn't far from being born, but this stone crocodile is still in the process of being born. It'll take some time before it's born. Another cultivator said, the stone crocodile was still alive. Why did it lose all its vitality in such a short time? This is really strange. Another cultivator said, his face full of confusion. If the stone crocodile hadn't died and continued to be nurtured, it would have been able to become a powerful Holy Spirit. However, the stone crocodile's vitality had already been cut off. It had no value. Could it be that its vitality was cut off because it was born prematurely? A cultivator said, although it's not the time for it to be born, the stone crocodile's body has already formed. Even if it's born prematurely, its vitality shouldn't have been cut off. Something unknown must have happened. A white-haired old man said, it's that terrifying Holy Spirit that destroyed the stone crocodile's vitality. A voice said. Everyone looked over. The person who spoke was none other than Lin Feng. Why is that Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan doing this? The destined prince looked at Lin Feng and asked, puzzled. Everyone else also looked at Lin Feng. That Holy Spirit might have exposed itself by doing that. Why did it risk destroying the stone crocodile's life? Many people were puzzled by the actions of the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. Chapter 46-45. Lin Feng said, this Holy Spirit is very overbearing. Of course, it can also be described as cruel and merciless. My guess is that he saw that the old senior was about to cut out the stone crocodile. So, to prevent the old senior from getting the stone crocodile, he killed the stone crocodile. In this way, although the old senior got the stone crocodile was useless. What benefits does he get by doing this? The old man was so angry that his whole body trembled. Although he had not been able to find the Holy Spirit, if he could get the stone crocodile, the harvest would still be huge. However, the Holy Spirit had killed the stone crocodile, so the old man did not get anything in the end. Naturally, the old man was incomparably angry. Now, he even had the thought of killing the Holy Spirit. There are no benefits. He simply doesn't want the stone creature to fall into the hands of the cultivators of other clans. Aren't there many clans who think highly of themselves and look down on other clans? The Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan obviously looks down on everyone here. He thinks that everyone here has a lowly bloodline. So, he would rather kill the stone creature than let it fall into the hands of the cultivators of other clans. Lin Feng said. Young Master Xingyu said indifferently. Kid, how can you say that? Who are you calling a lowly bloodline? You were talking about yourself, right? Lin Feng had already felt the strong hostility from young Master Xingyu. He had already felt it when he first met young Master Xingyu. At that time, young Master Xingyu had wanted to kill him. Lin Feng guessed that it was because of the Hui Bao. Now, young Master Xingyu was hostile towards him because of Nangong Muley. Lin Feng had heard that young Master Xingyu had been pursuing Nangong Muley. However, Nangong Muley did not pay much attention to young Master Xingyu. Moreover, Nangong Muley was quite enthusiastic towards him. This caused young Master Xingyu to be jealous. Lin Feng had seen too many people like young Master Xingyu. They hated people because of love, and they vented their anger on others. They thought that by getting rid of their competitors or potential dangers, they could win the heart of a beauty. But this idea was obviously very foolish. I'm just analyzing the thoughts of the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe from the perspective of the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe. As one of the 8 young masters of the Undying Realm, you can't even understand the meaning of my words? If that's the case, then it seems that Your Excellency has really insulted the reputation of the Undying Realm's 8 great young masters. Lin Feng replied indifferently. Since young Master Xingyu was asking for a scolding, Lin Feng would not hold back. Brat, what did you say? Young Master Xingyu's face turned gloomy. Very few people dared to be so presumptuous in front of him. Moreover, Lin Feng's words could not even be described as presumptuous. It was like a slap to his face. Naturally, young Master Xingyu was infuriated. He looked at Lin Feng with a murderous gaze. Young Master Xingyu and Lin Feng are fighting. One of them is one of the 8 great young masters of the Undying World, while the other is the Sinner Blood Emperor. I wonder what will happen if they fight? Many people couldn't help but get excited when they saw the two of them going against each other. If Lin Feng and young Master Xingyu were to fight, it would definitely be an exciting battle that would ignite everyone's blood. Don't you understand human language? Lin Feng looked at young Master Xingyu with a mocking gaze. Since they had already shed all pretenses of cordiality, there was no need to be polite with young Master Xingyu. Lin Feng hated young Master Xingyu's arrogant attitude. Did he really think that he was invincible just because he was one of the 8 great young masters of the Undying Realm? What a joke. Very good. Very good. Very good. Young Master Xingyu said very good 3 times in a row. It was obvious that he was extremely angry. He walked towards Lin Feng step by step and said indifferently, "It has been a long time since I've seen someone who dares to provoke me. Since you want to die, I don't mind fulfilling your wish. Do you think I'm afraid of you? I'll kill you and replace your position as one of the 8 great young masters of the Undying Realm," Lin Feng said indifferently. He was very strong and did not fear young Master Xingyu at all. "Both of you. This is the stone workshop of the 8-level palace. It's not a place for a battle. Please don't fight here," young Master Mingyu said. Young Master Mingyu naturally wanted young Master Xingyu to kill Lin Feng. However, this was not the place to do so. With Lin Feng and young Master Xingyu's cultivation, if they really fought, the stone workshop of the 8-level palace would be destroyed by the two of them. When that happened, the various immortal source stones in the stone workshop would definitely be lost. To the 8-level palace, such a loss would be too great. As a top genius of the 8-level palace, young Master Mingyu naturally had to protect the interests of the 8-level palace. "I'll give young Master Mingyu some face and spare this lowly life today," young Master Xingyu said indifferently. When he looked at Lin Feng, his gaze was still indifferent and contemptuous. He did not put Lin Feng in his eyes at all. In his opinion, if they really fought, he could easily kill Lin Feng. Lin Feng sneered and did not reply to young Master Xingyu. Ning Xianwu was panting with anger. Young Master Xingyu was too arrogant. He did not put Lin Feng in his eyes at all. Killing Lin Feng was as easy as killing an ant for him. His tone was also arrogant and condescending. Such an arrogant attitude naturally infuriated others. Ning Xianwu felt that Lin Feng was not someone who would back down in the face of trouble. Hence, when she saw Lin Feng not rebutting the arrogant and self-righteous young Master Xingyu, Ning Xianwu was very surprised. "Lin Feng, why don't you fight back? Is this still you?" Ning Xianwu asked. Lin Feng said, "I don't like to boast. I'll leave boasting to others." Many people could not help but laugh when they heard Lin Feng's words. Obviously, Lin Feng was mocking young Master Xingyu for boasting. Lin Feng was obviously not afraid of young Master Xingyu's provocation. When young Master Xingyu heard Lin Feng's words, the corners of his mouth could not help but twitch violently. At this moment, Lin Feng looked at Ning Xianwu and continued, "Xianwu, remember something very important." "What is it?" Ning Xianwu asked curiously. "When a dog bites a man must never bite a dog. Otherwise, a man is no longer a man, but a dog," Lin Feng said. When they heard Lin Feng's words, Many people laughed, including Nangong Muli, Hualing Xian, Mu Yasi, Sui Han, Ning Xianwu, and other beauties. Young Master Xing Yu had just said that he would spare Lin Feng's dog life on account of young Master Ming Yu. Lin Feng did not respond to young Master Xing Yu. Now, Lin Feng's answer to Ning Xianwu was obviously calling young Master Xing Yu a dog. Moreover, he had just been bitten by this dog. Therefore, when faced with young Master Xing Yu's provocation, he remained indifferent and did not refute. If he refuted young Master Xing Yu, wouldn't it be like a man biting a dog? How could a man bite a dog? If a man bit a dog, would he still be a man? Chapter 9. Seeking monthly votes. Recommendation votes. Reward. Chapter 46-46. In terms of eloquence, even 10 young masters Xing Yu added together might not be Lin Feng's match. Therefore, young Master Xing Yu was so angry that his whole body trembled. He wished he could kill Lin Feng right there and then. However, this was the Baji Palace's stone workshop, so he couldn't do anything. Therefore, no matter how much he hated Lin Feng, he could only suppress his hatred and murderous intent. Ant-like thing, I won't lower myself to your level now. Soon, you will know how stupid your current actions are. Young Master Xing Yu said hatefully. Lin Feng still ignored young Master Xing Yu, as if he didn't care. Perhaps it was because dogs could bite people, but people couldn't bite dogs. Lin Feng had compared young Master Xing Yu to a dog, so he wouldn't refute him. Little friend, have you found out where the immortal source stone is? The old man asked with a gloomy expression. Normally, he wouldn't ask Lin Feng such a question. Even if he did, he believed that Lin Feng would most likely not answer. The reason he asked Lin Feng this question today was because the old man was too angry. The stone crocodile was about to be born, but its vitality had been destroyed by the stone clan's sacred spirit. This made the old man's efforts go to waste. In the end, it was all for naught. Therefore, the old man was naturally very angry. Lin Feng didn't feel that there was anything he couldn't say about this matter. Previously, he hadn't been able to determine where the immortal source stone was hidden by the stone clan's sacred spirit. Now, Lin Feng felt that he had sensed where the immortal source stone was hidden. It should be in the courtyard in front of him. The reason he made this judgment was because the stone clan's sacred spirit had silently killed the stone crocodile. If the distance was too far, it would be difficult to do it silently. If he attacked from too far away, regardless of whether he released his power or retracted it, the sacred spirit could sense it. Therefore, Lin Feng guessed that the stone clan's sacred spirit was hidden somewhere in the surroundings. He quickly took action and retracted the power he had released. The time was very short. In addition, everyone's attention was focused on cutting the stone, so he successfully deceived everyone and killed the stone crocodile. Lin Feng said, I'm guessing that the stone tribe's holy spirit is hiding in this courtyard. After hearing Lin Feng's words, everyone was extremely shocked. If they were in this courtyard, then the target of the search would be much smaller. The faces of the 8 extreme palaces people turned green as they looked at Lin Feng with unfriendly gazes. They naturally didn't want these people to find the holy spirit of the stone tribe, because they wanted to find the holy spirit of the stone tribe by themselves. What are you waiting for? Quickly activate the restriction and seal off this courtyard. A white-haired old man said. This was an old antique expert. His words represented the thoughts of many people. Therefore, the people of the 8 extreme palace didn't dare to disobey. They could only activate the restrictions and seal the courtyard. As a result, the immortal origin stone that the Holy Spirit was hiding in was trapped in the courtyard. If that guy wanted to escape, he would have to try to break the restriction. With so many experts present, no matter how extraordinary that guy's methods were, he would need time to break the restriction. Therefore, when the time came, he would definitely be exposed. This Lin Feng is really amazing. He's so young, but his cultivation is so strong. He also has deep attainments in the stone discernment technique. He is Lin Baiyan's son. Back then, how amazing was his father. Therefore, I don't think it's strange that he has these abilities. He doesn't only have these abilities. I heard that he is also proficient in great formations and is an array grandmaster. The cultivators outside were discussing spiritedly. Because many people couldn't enter the courtyard, They could only stretch their necks to look inside. Many people were amazed by Lin Feng's extraordinary abilities. In addition, everyone was paying attention to the specific situation inside the courtyard. They didn't know who would be lucky enough to find the immortal origin stone that the Stone Tribe's Holy Spirit was hiding in. Naturally, everyone was very curious about this matter. The courtyard was very large, spanning several thousand square meters. It was the largest stone workshop in Baji Palace. Therefore, there were a lot of immortal origin stones here. Immortal origin stones were precious, but the immortal origin stones here were even more precious. Wanting to cut all the immortal origin stones here was not a very realistic thing. These were the immortal origin stones that Baji Palace had accumulated over many years. Little friend, do you think this immortal origin stone is worth everything? A white-haired old man took a fancy to this immortal origin stone and asked Lin Feng for help. Lin Feng said, "Senior, do you plan to cut the Stone Tribe's Holy Spirit out?" The old man said, "This kind of thing can't be forced." This old man is very open-minded. Lin Feng said, "Senior's attitude is very good. Since you have such an attitude, you can cut this immortal origin stone." Hearing this, the old man nodded. The immortal origin stone was worth 430,000 immortal stones. It was very expensive. The old man paid the price. Then, he took out a stone-cutting knife and began to cut the stone. Swoosh, swoosh. The old man's technique was very skillful. Pieces of the stone began to peel off. Many cultivators gathered around to watch the show. They did not know if this immortal origin stone could really be cut into some immortal origin stones. Naturally, many people doubted Lin Feng's stone-discerning technique. After all, Lin Feng was very young. It was not easy for his cultivation to be extraordinary. Could it be that he had other thoughts to research other things? Before cutting the stone, Lin Feng gave the old antique some pointers. Perhaps from a certain point of view, they could see how Lin Feng's methods were. As the stone continued to peel off, the surface area of the immortal origin stone rapidly shrank. However, nothing was cut out. There was a commotion in the surrounding area. Many people were discussing in private. They felt that perhaps nothing would be cut out this time. When the stone had shrunk to the size of a bowl, everyone was even more certain of this matter. The old antique who was cutting the stone could not help but frown. He did not blame Lin Feng. This was because he had chosen this immortal origin stone himself. He had asked Lin Feng whether or not to cut this immortal origin stone. No one had forced him to do so. Moreover, cutting the stone was a matter of probability. No matter how powerful the stone-discerning technique was, it could not guarantee that something would be cut out. In reality, the probability of something being cut out was very small. When the last knife was cut, the old antique expert no longer held any hope in his heart. However, when the knife was cut halfway, the cracked immortal origin stone emitted a faint golden energy. A refreshing fragrance wafted out from the cracked immortal origin stone. Chapter 46-47. The old man could not help but reveal a shocked expression, followed by a burst of ecstasy. When he smelled that special fragrance, the old man felt as if he had become a few thousand years younger. This feeling was too comfortable. Although they did not know what was sealed within the immortal source stone, it was definitely extremely precious. Although we still don't know what it is, the fragrance is very special. After smelling it, I felt my body become incomparably comfortable. It's definitely an amazing treasure. Yeah, the thing inside is definitely heaven-defying. We'll know what kind of treasure it is in a while. Lin Feng gave that old antique some pointers before, asking him to cut open that stone. Was he just lucky, or is he really proficient in the stone discernment technique? Those top prodigies all highly praise Lin Feng's stone discernment technique. It seems like he really is proficient in the stone discernment technique. I really don't know what this guy has been through all these years. At such a young age, his cultivation is already so tyrannical. It's already unbelievable that he has such profound attainments in the stone discernment technique. It's really admirable. Yeah, it's really admirable. It seems like the rumors about his extraordinary attainments in formations are also true. Many cultivators started talking. They all looked at Lin Feng in awe and respect. Lin Feng was a bit stronger than before. Because Lin Feng's methods were too extraordinary, such a person would naturally be respected. Finally, the old antique expert carefully cut open the immortal source stone. The thing inside the immortal source stone was also revealed to everyone. The thing inside the immortal source stone was a silver silkworm. On the silkworm's back, there were traces of blood. It was very strange. What surprised everyone was that the silver silkworm was actually still alive. Silver blood silkworm. After seeing the silver silkworm, many people could not help but exclaim, their faces filled with disbelief. This was a legendary spiritual object. It was said that the silver blood silkworm was very precious. If the silver blood silkworm was used as the main ingredient to refine the silver blood life-prolonging pill, it could increase one's lifespan by 100,000 years. It should be known that the immortal pills that could increase one's lifespan by a few thousand years were already very heaven-defying. If the silver blood silkworm was used as the main ingredient to refine a pill that could increase one's lifespan by 100,000 years, it was really heaven-defying. Of course, no one would use the silver blood silkworm to refine this kind of elixir because they would carry it with them when they cultivated. The aura emitted by the silver blood silkworm could subtly change a cultivator's body. At the same time, a cultivator's lifespan would also gradually increase. Many people wanted to find spirit insects like the silver blood silkworm. However, no one could find the silver blood silkworm. The main reason was that after the end of the era, many natural treasures and living beings had disappeared. It was not like the early epoch when resources were abundant and there were many races. Therefore, many of the heavenly treasures and earthly treasures that originally existed, as well as some races and living beings, had now become existences in myths and legends. The old man was naturally very excited. Even though he couldn't find the holy spirit of the stone tribe, he was still able to obtain a silver blood silkworm. This was a great harvest. Not to mention 400,000 immortal stones. This old man wouldn't even sell it for 40 million immortal stones. This was a priceless treasure. Thank you for your guidance, little friend. I am Situ Xingsheng. I am from the reclusive Situ clan. If you have any problems in the future, you can come find me. I might be able to solve your problems. The old man was very grateful to Lin Feng for obtaining the silver blood silkworm, so he smiled and said, "So it is Senior Situ. This junior didn't do anything earlier." Lin Feng politely said. The old man only smiled. There was no need for words. The surrounding cultivators exclaimed. Earlier, everyone saw how Lin Feng taught Situ Xingxing how to cut the stones. Lin Feng's stone identification technique was absolutely amazing, causing everyone to be shocked. Many people went to pick the stones they liked. Then, they went to Lin Feng and asked Lin Feng if they should cut the stones they found. Under normal circumstances, Lin Feng wouldn't have taught them anything. However, this was the stone workshop of the 8 Extreme Palace. Lin Feng and the 8 Extreme Palace didn't have a good relationship. Both sides were enemies. Lin Feng wanted to trick the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop. Therefore, when people came to ask him, Lin Feng would usually give them some guidance. This led to a very interesting scene. Whenever Lin Feng shook his head, those cultivators would immediately throw away the stones they chose. However, whenever Lin Feng nodded, those cultivators would cut the stones they chose. Of course, Lin Feng's choice of stone wasn't 100% guaranteed to yield a good item. Although they didn't have a 100% success rate in the end, they still had a 90% success rate. And this probability was obviously very shocking. After seeing this scene, the faces of the cultivators in the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop turned green. This was because the stones that Lin Feng judged to be useless were thrown to the ground like garbage. Many good things were taken away by those cultivators. This time, the loss of the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop was too big. Moreover, it was foreseeable that after this stone cutting, many people wouldn't patronize the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop anymore. This was because everyone would feel that the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop had lost a lot of good things. There was no need to continue cutting stones in the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop. If they continued to cut stones in the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop, they might go bankrupt in the end. After thinking about this possibility, many people in the 8 Extreme Palace's stone workshop even had the thought of killing Lin Feng. However, they naturally couldn't do such a thing. Even if they hated him in their hearts, they couldn't do it. They also couldn't do anything to Lin Feng. Otherwise, the reputation of the 8 Extreme Palaces Stone Workshop would be completely ruined. Moreover, many people had received Lin Feng's kindness. If they were to do something to Lin Feng now, the people in the 8 Extreme Palaces Stone Workshop felt that these cultivators would tear down the 8 Extreme Palaces Stone Workshop. Lin Feng was strolling in the courtyard. He was also looking for immortal source stones that were worth cutting. In addition, Lin Feng was also looking for immortal source stones where the Holy Spirit was hiding. However, the Holy Spirit was very cunning. Its concealment method was also very brilliant. Therefore, even after searching for a long time, Lin Feng still couldn't find where it was hiding. At this moment, Lin Feng stopped in front of a stone and looked at it. Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal an extremely astonished expression. Could it be that he wants to cut the stone? Many cultivators couldn't help but talk to themselves. Everyone was surrounding the stone. Lin Feng's stone discernment technique was unparalleled in the world. Even those old antiques were far inferior to him. However, Lin Feng didn't choose any immortal source stones before. Now, he revealed an astonished expression when he saw the immortal source stone in front of him. Chapter 46-48. What is the price of this immortal source stone? Lin Feng asked. 880,000 immortal stones. The elder in charge of the stone workshop said with a gloomy expression. He really wanted to say that this immortal origin stone was the most precious treasure of the academy. Therefore, he wouldn't peddle it because he felt that Lin Feng's stone identification skills were superb. The immortal origin stone that he had his eyes on definitely had some good stuff. If he cut it open himself, the workshop would definitely obtain something extraordinary. However, he couldn't casually say such words. Even if it was for the reputation of Baji Palace, he couldn't say such words. Good. I want it, Lin Feng said. Next, he waved his hand and a river of 880,000 immortal stones flew out. The elder of the 8 Extreme Palaces Stone Workshop put away the immortal stone with a gloomy expression. Will this immortal origin stone yield anything extraordinary? Ning Xinwu asked curiously. Lin Feng said, let's give it a try. I'm not sure. Lin Feng took out his stone-cutting knife. Swish, swish. Stone chips were constantly being cut down. Lin Feng was naturally very familiar with cutting stones. The size of the stone continued to decrease. It continued to shrink, but nothing appeared. There wasn't any special aura either. Everyone couldn't help but mutter. While Lin Feng was teaching others how to cut stones, many people obtained good things. When it was his turn to cut the stone, could it be that the first cut would end in failure? This situation was not impossible to discover. Some cultivators who had grievances with Lin Feng wished that Lin Feng would not be able to cut anything. Clang. Suddenly, Lin Feng's stone-cutting knife seemed to have cut a metal surface, and a sonorous collision sound was heard. I found something, many people couldn't help but exclaim. Everyone's eyes couldn't help but become heated. They wondered what good things Lin Feng had cut out. It must be extraordinary, right? Not long after, Lin Feng cut out the item inside the immortal origin stone. Everyone looked over and discovered that what Lin Feng had cut out was actually a small fragment of a broken sword. This surprised many people. Buzz. At this moment, an extremely terrifying aura was emitted from the broken sword. That aura seemed to be able to split open the 9 heavens world in an instant. This aura was too frightening. Many people couldn't help but be frightened. They had never seen such a heaven-defying broken sword. How could a broken sword emit such a terrifying aura? What kind of expert was able to forge such an extraordinary sword? Presumably, when the broken sword was complete, it must have been heaven-defying to an unimaginable degree. Master of the 6 Paths, I am the Ghost Lord. Master of the 6 Paths, I am the Ghost Lord. Lin Feng stood in place, his face full of disbelief. This was because one voice after another came out of the broken sword. The broken sword kept repeating the phrase, Master of the 6 Tao, I am the Wraith Lord. What did he mean by that? Could it be that this broken sword was a supreme treasure forged by a ghost lord in the past? Perhaps this broken sword hid a great secret. Perhaps this broken sword could find the whereabouts of that ghost lord. A ghost lord might not necessarily be the master of the six paths. However, if the master of the six paths was also a ghost lord, then this ghost lord would definitely be an unimaginably heaven-defying existence. He would definitely be ranked among the top experts of this era. Therefore, if he could find the legacy of this ghost lord, he would be able to do so. It would definitely be a great opportunity. The broken sword seemed to want to fly away. Lin Feng quickly used the 8 soul sealing seals to seal the broken sword. Only then did the broken sword's terrifying aura disappear. Lin Feng let out a long sigh and put away the broken sword. Seeing how careful Lin Feng was with the broken sword, many people couldn't help but mutter in their hearts. That broken sword was definitely not ordinary. Moreover, Lin Feng might know the origin of that broken sword, which was why he was treating it so seriously. Perhaps the meaning behind the broken sword could not be measured by the value of a broken sword. You still haven't told us what that broken sword is, Ning Xinwu said. Everyone was very curious and wanted to know the origin of the broken sword. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't tell them. He looked at Ning Xinwu and said, "I'll tell you when we get back." Okay. Ning Xinwu smiled and nodded. Her appearance was so beautiful that it was suffocating. The surrounding cultivators dispersed and continued to look for immortal origin stones that they wanted. Lin Feng saw that Sui Han was also looking for immortal origin stones. He glanced at the immortal origin stone that Sui Han chose and said, "Your immortal origin stone isn't good. Choose that one over there." Lin Feng pointed at a nearby immortal origin stone and said. Sui Han snorted. Seeing Lin Feng and Ning Xinwu together, she couldn't help but feel jealous. Therefore, she ignored Lin Feng. However, Sui Han still obediently listened to Lin Feng's words. She gave up on the immortal origin stone that Lin Feng chose for her. She bought that immortal origin stone. She then cut open that immortal origin stone. A golden jade crown was cut out from that immortal origin stone. That golden jade crown was clearly an extraordinary treasure. It emitted an extremely shocking fluctuation. Sui Han's beautiful face revealed a happy expression. She hurriedly sacrificed the golden jade crown. After Sui Han sacrificed the golden jade crown, Sui Han's beautiful face revealed an even more happy expression. Obviously, after sacrificing the golden jade crown, Sui Han knew what kind of treasure that golden jade crown was. Perhaps the value of the golden jade crown far exceeded Sui Han's imagination. That was why Sui Han revealed such a happy expression. At this time, Lin Feng was also looking for his next target. He looked at many immortal origin stones. Some immortal origin stones did indeed have something sealed within them. However, those immortal origin stones didn't attract Lin Feng's interest. Finally, Lin Feng stopped in front of a relatively large immortal origin stone. This immortal origin stone was 5 or 6 meters tall. Its width and thickness were 3 or 4 meters. In the beginning, Lin Feng didn't discover anything special about this immortal origin stone. However, when Lin Feng tried to sense this large immortal origin stone for the second time, Lin Feng discovered there was a very weak fluctuation inside the immortal origin stone. This attracted Lin Feng's attention. The fluctuation was very obscure. If one didn't carefully sense it, they wouldn't be able to sense it. What is sealed inside? Lin Feng couldn't help but say to himself. He had a strong intuition. The thing sealed inside was definitely extraordinary. Chapter 46-49. How much is this immortal source stone? Lin Feng looked at the 8 extreme palaces elder and asked. 1 million immortal source stones. The 8 extreme palaces elder angrily said. When he looked at Lin Feng, he looked at Lin Feng with a sidelong glance. If he could kill Lin Feng with a single palm strike, the 8 extreme palaces elder would not hesitate to kill Lin Feng. What an expensive immortal source stone. Many of the surrounding cultivators could not help but cry out in alarm. 1 million immortal source stones was indeed an astonishing price. It could be described as a sky-high price. In such a large stone shop, there were not many immortal source stones that could reach a price of more than 2 million immortal source stones. However, 2 million immortal source stones was just a drop in the ocean for Lin Feng. Lin Feng waved his hand and a river of immortal source stones flew out. A total of 1 million immortal source stones were collected by the 8 Extreme Palace's elder. Lin Gongzi is going to cut the stone again. Soon, the news spread and the scattered cultivators in the courtyard gathered towards Lin Feng's location. This stone is actually worth 1 million immortal source stones? That's too expensive. What do you think is inside? Ning Xinwu curiously asked. Lin Feng smiled and said, "You'll know after cutting it open." This was the second immortal source stone that Lin Feng personally cut. Because Lin Feng had fully demonstrated how powerful his stone discernment technique was, everyone knew that Lin Feng had chosen this immortal source stone because he was confident in it. I also took a fancy to this immortal source stone before, but the price was too high and I was not willing to cut it. If I had known earlier, I would have asked little friend Lin. A cultivator lamented. Seeing that Lin Feng was about to cut the immortal source stone, he was somewhat vexed. If he had asked Lin Feng earlier, he might have been the one cutting the immortal source stone. We can go look for other immortal source stones later and ask little friend Lin's opinion, a cultivator said. The cultivator nodded and looked at Lin Feng, waiting for Lin Feng to cut the immortal source stone. Various top-notch geniuses, fairies, and many white-haired old antiques had already surrounded the area so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Stone fragments continuously fell off the stone. The immortal source stone surface was constantly shrinking. Not long after, the immortal source stone emitted a suffocating and terrifying killing intent. That killing intent was too shocking. After feeling that killing intent, many people were unable to control their bodies. Heavens, God! Heavens! What is it, that thing? Many people couldn't help but reveal a horrified expression because this murderous intent was too terrifying. It was simply unbelievable. Retreat quickly. Don't get too close. Otherwise, we might suffer a calamity, some cultivators said. Many cultivators retreated to a safe distance. The aura of the immortal source stone had just been emitted, and it was already so terrifying. They couldn't imagine how terrifying the aura of the thing inside the immortal source stone would be when it was born. Only a few powerful cultivators were able to resist the terrifying killing intent emitted from the immortal source stone. They did not choose to retreat. Instead, they stared at the immortal source stone. They were extremely interested in the thing inside the immortal source stone. Lin Feng was not affected by the killing intent because Lin Feng cultivated Qi aura. Qi aura could neutralize all kinds of aura. Killing intent, to put it bluntly, was also a kind of aura oppression. Therefore, it was not difficult for Lin Feng to neutralize this terrifying killing intent. Lin Feng continued to cut the immortal source stone. The surface area of the immortal source stone was still rapidly shrinking. Not long after, a black devil saber appeared in his line of sight. Many people were shocked. Lin Feng had actually cut out the tip of a devil saber. What did this mean? Could it be that the immortal source stone sealed a devil saber? The devil saber emitted a terrifying aura. The aura emitted from the immortal source stone was the aura of the devil saber. After being sealed for so long, it's still so terrifying. That devil saber is definitely an extremely heaven-defying treasure, someone said. His eyes could no longer move away from the devil saber. Now, some cultivators even wanted to rush forward and snatch the devil saber. Then, they would quickly leave this place. However, those cultivators quickly cut off such thoughts. There were so many experts here. Many of them had received guidance from Lin Feng and obtained good things when cutting the immortal source stone. Therefore, if they tried to snatch the treasures from Lin Feng only needed to say a word and they would be besieged. They would not be able to escape unscathed. Lin Feng continued to cut off the devil sabers surrounding devil saber. Not long after, everyone saw a shocking scene. There was more than one devil saber sealed in the immortal source stone. There was also a cultivator sealed in it. That was because a part of the cultivator's body had already appeared. As for the incomparably sharp devil saber, it pierced through the cultivator's body. That cultivator died tragically because of that. Lin Feng was also very shocked. He did not expect that the immortal source stone would seal a cultivator who had been stabbed to death by the devil saber. Lin Feng continued to cut the immortal source stone. Finally, he completely peeled off the immortal source stone. The cultivator's body was completely revealed, dead but not fallen. Seeing the corpse, everyone felt incredulous. That cultivator seemed to have died standing. This is a middle-aged cultivator. At that moment, someone continued to say, this cultivator was a middle-aged cultivator. Back then, he must have been an earth-shattering figure. Unfortunately, his heart was pierced by a saber and he died because of that. His eyes were tightly closed. He stood in the courtyard. Although he was only a corpse, he emitted a suffocating pressure. Who was he when he was alive? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. He wanted to try to investigate the origin of this corpse. Lin Feng saw the storage ring on his hand. That storage ring had been sealed in the immortal source stone for a long time. Presumably, the storage ring on his hand had not been destroyed because of that. Perhaps he could find out his origin from the storage ring. Moreover, he could also find some shocking things in the storage ring, such as some powerful treasures or ancient inheritances. However, just as Lin Feng was about to take action, an extremely terrifying pressure enveloped Lin Feng's body. At that moment, Lin Feng felt as if he had fallen into hell. He looked in the direction of the pressure. There, an old man had appeared out of nowhere. That old man was a terrifying true immortal. Chapter 4650. Lin Feng didn't know who that true immortal old man was. However, that old man looked somewhat hateful. With such a silent threat, Lin Feng didn't dare to act rashly. After all, the old man was a true immortal expert. Lin Feng didn't want to make an enemy out of such an expert for the time being. He raised his eyebrows and stood where he was without moving. Meanwhile, the old man walked step by step towards the expert's corpse. It's the old ancestor of the Baji Palace. At this time, a cultivator recognized the old man's identity. This was an old ancestor of the Baji Palace. Moreover, he was an expert with a strong foundation. Breaking out from the God's Stone and looking down at the myriad worlds, this person was definitely an unimaginably terrifying existence. Logically speaking, Lin Feng was cutting the stone in the Baji Palace's workshop. Therefore, no matter what Lin Feng cut, the people of the Baji Palace wouldn't act against Lin Feng. If the Baji Palace did so, then the reputation of the Baji Palace would be completely ruined. The Baji Palace's workshop wouldn't be able to continue operating. However, the old ancestor of the Baji Palace didn't care about these things at all. He still did things his own way. After all, he was a true immortal expert and could do things as he pleased. Moreover, no matter what he did, the cultivators of the Baji Palace wouldn't dare to say anything. The other cultivators also didn't dare to say anything. This was because he was strong enough. The world of cultivators had always been like this. The strong were respected, and the weak were destined to be bullied by the strong. Dead but not fallen, the body is immortal. This body is perfect. Perhaps it's not inferior to the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. The old ancestor's voice was indifferent. His words made his intentions clear. This old fart might have taken a fancy to this expert's corpse, so he wanted to refine this expert's corpse into something similar to his external incarnation. This expert's corpse was indeed terrifying. If it was refined into an avatar, it would be extremely terrifying. The corpse exuded an extremely terrifying pressure. Ordinary people would not be able to withstand such pressure. However, that pressure was nothing to the old ancestor of the 8 Extreme Palace. He easily resisted that terrifying pressure. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor smoothly arrived in front of the corpse. He grabbed the demonic saber. Then, he wanted to pull the demonic blade out of the corpse, but he found that the demonic blade didn't move at all. This made the old ancestor of the Baji Palace reveal a surprised expression. Then, his face sank slightly. He actually failed to pull out the demonic blade, which made him feel embarrassed. Magic power swirled around his palm. He used his own magic power to pull out the demonic blade. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor slowly pulled out the demonic blade. Blood flowed out from the corpse's wounds. Why is it blood? Many people were puzzled. Logically speaking, after being dead for such a long time, the blood in the body should have already solidified. However, that was not the case. The blood flowing out of the corpse was still fresh blood. It was truly inconceivable. Lin Feng also felt that this scene was inconceivable. He suddenly remembered that before he cut the immortal source stone, he felt a special fluctuation from it. Although it was very weak, the fluctuation was very real. Lin Feng finally knew what that faint fluctuation was. That faint fluctuation should be the fluctuation of life. Could it be? Lin Feng thought of a certain possibility, and he felt his heart beat violently. If that possibility was true, didn't it mean that the corpse hadn't truly died? Lin Feng didn't know if his guess was correct or not, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he continued to observe the corpse. If it was as he guessed, and the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor was after him, would he let the old ancestor go? What a good blade. This demonic blade is absolutely heaven-defying. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor observed the demonic blade in his hand, and his face couldn't help but reveal a look of joy. Even with his experience, he was attracted by the demonic blade in his hand. That demonic blade was absolutely heaven-defying. It was enough to drive people crazy. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor was about to put the corpse into his storage ring. Suddenly, that expert's corpse actually opened its eyes. It was a pair of blood-red eyes. However, the blood-red light in those eyes was dissipating bit by bit. Not long after, all the blood-red light completely dissipated. That pair of eyes returned to normal. However, his eyes looked very confused. Who am I? Where am I? He muttered to himself. He seemed to have forgotten his identity. Then, he looked at his chest, which was still bleeding profusely. Why am I injured? The expert couldn't help but mutter to himself. He's resurrected. He's actually resurrected. At this moment, the surrounding cultivators were in an uproar. A cultivator who had been dead for God knows how many years had actually come back to life. This was simply too inconceivable. However, all of this was happening right in front of his eyes. Even though he felt that it was extremely inconceivable, even though it was unbelievable, they couldn't help but believe what they saw with their own eyes. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor was obviously very shocked. However, he reacted quickly. Before the resurrected expert could recover, he had already sent a palm strike at him. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor took advantage of this great opportunity to suppress the resurrected expert. It seemed that he still wanted to refine this expert into his external incarnation. Moreover, using a living body to refine an external incarnation was definitely many times more effective than using a dead body to refine an external incarnation. Just as the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor was about to attack the resurrected expert, the demonic blade in his hand suddenly fluctuated violently. The demonic blade instantly broke free from the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor's grasp and then slashed at him. Lin Feng used the army mantra. He used the army mantra to control the demonic blade to attack the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor. Damn it! The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor couldn't help but roar in anger. His eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. He was almost angered to death. He was about to succeed, but someone had ruined it. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor had no choice but to resist the demonic blade's attack. With a wave of his hand, endless demonic aura gushed out and bombarded the demonic blade, sending it flying. It's you. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor looked at Lin Feng. This old fart's perception was very strong. He could sense who had attacked him just now. I'll destroy you. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor was furious. Shouted the ancestor of the Baji Palace furiously. He threw himself at Lin Feng. Chapter 46:51. Shameless old thing. Have a taste of this little grandpa's arrow first. When Lin Feng saw the ancestor of the Baji Palace, he took out his Hoi bow and godly shooting arrows. Then, he pulled the bow and released the arrow. An arrow was shot towards the old ancestor. Although Lin Feng knew that it would be difficult to kill the old ancestor, Lin Feng still wanted to thoroughly discuss this old thing. Moreover, Lin Feng was confident that he could leave this place smoothly after discuss the old ancestor. After killing you, this Hoi bow and sunshot divine arrow will be mine. The old ancestor of the Baji Palace looked indifferent. He took out a battle spear and swung it at the sunshot divine arrow that was shooting towards him. Clang! Along with the sound of collision, the war spear in the old ancestor's hand collided with the sunshot divine arrow shot by Lin Feng. The old ancestor was worthy of being a true immortal expert. His combat strength was truly heaven-defying. The war spear in his hand swept away the sunshot divine arrow shot by Lin Feng. Ant-like thing, your time of death has come. The old ancestor looked at Lin Feng with an indifferent expression. Old thing, look behind you, Lin Feng said. At this time, the old ancestor felt a terrifying aura behind him. He turned around and saw the resurrected mysterious expert holding the demonic saber looking at him. Are you the one who injured me? The resurrected expert looked coldly at the old ancestor. The old ancestor said, It has nothing to do with me. I'm the one who saved you. If I hadn't pulled the demonic saber out of your body, you wouldn't have been resurrected. Because this person had just been resurrected, he couldn't even remember who he was. Obviously, his brain wasn't very bright. Therefore, this was the best time to trick him. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor clearly wanted to trick this resurrected expert. Lin Feng cursed in his heart. This shameless old thing's skin was as thick as a city wall. How could he say such words? Don't you feel ashamed? Upon hearing the old ancestor's words, the resurrected expert said indifferently, You wanted to suppress me earlier. Do you think I don't know? That was a misunderstanding. I thought you had already turned into a corpse. That's why I wanted to suppress you. But now, brother, you haven't turned into a corpse. To be able to see brother recover to his original state, I'm sincerely happy for you. The old ancestor of Baji Palace said. Lin Feng wasn't the only one cursing the Baji Palace's old ancestor for being shameless. Many people were cursing the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor for being shameless in their hearts. Where was the heroic spirit of a true immortal? How could he be so shameless as to deceive that expert who had just been resurrected? Did he not feel ashamed? The newly resurrected expert sneered, Although I've just been resurrected, I can still clearly distinguish between right and wrong. Take this. As soon as he finished speaking, the newly resurrected powerhouse held his saber with both hands. Then, he slashed at the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor. When he slashed out with his saber, a shocking scene appeared. Countless saber shadows appeared around him. Every saber shadow was abnormally terrifying, and it emitted a shockwave that caused people to be involuntarily aghast. The endless saber shadows instantly fused into the demonic saber. Then, a dazzling saber light flew out from the demonic saber. It quickly slashed at the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor. A single slash can manifest billions of saber shadows. The demonic saber is terrifying, and so is his strength. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to activate the power of the demonic saber. Moreover, he's just been resurrected. His combat power is probably incomparable to his peak state. Even so, his combat power is still so terrifying. It's hard to imagine how terrifying his combat power was when he was at his peak state. Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder when he saw the resurrected expert attack. The resurrected expert was indeed too terrifying. With a single slash of his saber, nothing was left. Anyone who faced this terrifying saber would feel their hair stand on end. Feeling the power of this saber, the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor was obviously shocked. Perhaps he never thought that the newly resurrected expert would have such terrifying combat power. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor's reaction was extremely fast. When the terrifying saber light slashed at him, he held the war spear with both hands and directly slashed at the incoming saber light. The war spear in his hand collided with the saber light, and the saber light's power reached an incredible level. It directly blasted the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor away. Then, the resurrected expert once again slashed out a saber light. The second saber light quickly flew toward the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor. Once again, it slashed at the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor had just been sent flying, so he was caught off guard by the second saber light attack. Fortunately, he reacted in time. When the dazzling blade light slashed towards him, He held the battle spear with both hands and swept the battle spear in front of him to block the terrifying blade light that had already arrived. Clang! Along with the violent sound of metal colliding, the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor slammed into the spear. The saber light directly slashed at the war spear. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor was sent flying. His hands holding the war spear were shattered, and blood immediately flowed out. At this time, the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor suddenly felt an extremely dangerous aura coming from behind. He looked behind him and saw that the Sunshot Divine Arrow was already shooting towards him at high speed. Lin Feng had already shot the Sunshot Divine Arrow the moment the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor was sent flying by the resurrected expert. I'll take your life while you're sick. It wouldn't be easy to kill the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor. But now, Lin Feng saw the opportunity to kill the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor. If he could kill a true immortal expert, naturally, it would be a great harvest. Moreover, if this old thing fell, it would definitely be a huge blow to the 8 Extreme Palace. You little bastard. How dare you sneak attack me? Seeing the Sunshot Divine Arrow shooting toward him at high speed, the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor roared in anger. Now, it was too late for him to block the Sunslaying Divine Arrow because the Sunslaying Divine Arrow was about to hit him. Therefore, he could only choose to dodge the Sunshot Divine Arrow's attack. He quickly moved to the right. Bang! The next moment, the Sunshot Divine Arrow shot the 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor's left arm. The 8 Extreme Palace's old ancestor's left arm instantly exploded. Chapter 46:52. Everyone couldn't help but reveal an extremely shocked expression. Lin Feng had actually shattered one of the ancestor's arms with a single arrow. This was a huge blow to the ancestor. The power of Lin Feng's arrow just now was too frightening, causing everyone's hair to stand on end. Previously, everyone had heard that Lin Feng wielded the Hui Bao and that the Sunslaying Divine Arrow displayed a terrifying combat strength. However, they only had a relative concept in their minds. They didn't know what level Lin Feng wielded the Hui Bao and the Sunslaying Divine Arrow displayed. Only now did they know that even a true immortal expert could die in the hands of Lin Feng if they weren't careful. I'm going to kill you. The ancestor was furious. He was a true immortal expert, yet one of his arms was crippled by Lin Feng. Now that he was severely injured, it was a huge blow to the old ancestor of the 8 Extreme Palace. Naturally, he couldn't accept all this. His murderous intent soared to the sky, and he couldn't wait to kill Lin Feng. Shouted the ancestor of the Baji Palace furiously. He wanted to kill Lin Feng, but at that moment, the strong cultivator who had just come back to life was already attacking him. He held a demonic saber in his hand, and the saber tore through the sky. The power of the demonic saber left everyone aghast. No one dared to underestimate the power of the demonic saber. The ancestor was already suppressed by the saber before he was injured, let alone now. It was extremely difficult for him to resist the opponent's attack. The ancestor had no choice but to brandish his war spear to block the expert's attack. However, with only one arm left, it was even more difficult for him to resist. He was sent flying by the saber and spat out a mouthful of blood from the impact. This old thing doesn't care about the rules at all. He's simply suffering the consequences of his own actions. He's a real celestial cultivator, but he can't do as he pleases. Lin Feng's arrow broke his arm, and the strong cultivator who came back to life oppressed him. I wonder if he'll be killed? The fall of a true immortal expert will definitely be a heavy blow to the 8 Extreme Palace. Hee. It's better that this old thing is dead. A rule breaker like him is still alive. Now that he's targeting Lin Gongzi, who knows if he'll target us in the future? Many people couldn't help but discuss. Many were on Lin Feng's side. After all, they had received Lin Feng's kindness while they had no relationship with the 8 Extreme Palace's ancestor. Of course, they hoped Lin Feng would be able to kill the ancestor of the Baji Palace. At that moment, the Sunshot Godly Arrow flew back into Lin Feng's hand. Lin, the ancestor, T.S. Lin Feng quickly moved to the side and dodged young Master Ming Yu's sword. Lin Feng raised his brows and said, It seems like young Master Ming you can't wait any longer and wants to take action. You've gone too far. Young Master Ming you said with an indifferent expression. Among the 8 young masters of the undying world, young Master Ming you was one of the more profound ones. Therefore, young Master Ming you rarely took action. If he really wanted to deal with others, he would think of ways to scheme against the other party instead of personally taking action. But today, young Master Ming you personally took action. It was clear that he knew how big of a threat Lin Feng was. He must stop Lin Feng. However, he didn't continue to attack Lin Feng. Although he wanted to kill Lin Feng, he didn't want to personally kill Lin Feng. Moreover, young Master Xing Yu also wanted to kill Lin Feng, so he planned to let young Master Xing Yu take action. Therefore, after stopping Lin Feng from continuing to deal with the ancestor of the Baji Palace, young Master Ming Yu didn't plan to take action again. Many people knew that young Master Ming Yu was a scheming person. Now that young Master Ming Yu didn't take action after stopping Lin Feng, many people muttered in their hearts. They felt that the rumors were true. Many people guessed that young Master Ming Yu wanted to leave Lin Feng for young Master Xing Yu to deal with. This was an open conspiracy. Others couldn't say anything. Young Master Xing Yu also guessed young Master Ming Yu's thoughts. A sneer appeared on his face. He was quite disdainful of young Master Ming Yu's actions. Moreover, young Master Xing Yu felt that young Master Ming Yu, who was good at scheming, had gone astray on the path of martial arts. His future achievements would definitely be far inferior to his. At this very moment, the ancestor of the Baji Palace was forced into an extremely sorry state by the resurrected expert. There were several deep wounds on his body that exposed his bones. He was trembling with anger. He was an expert with a strong foundation. How could his cultivation be so terrifying? Even if he couldn't sweep the world with an invincible posture. However, he couldn't be defeated so miserably. Now, the ancestor of the Baji Palace felt that he had become the laughingstock of many people. This made him gnash his teeth in hatred. The two of you, are you still not coming out? Kill this person. I only want his physical body, his demonic saber, and the various treasures in his storage ring. I won't even take the ancient inheritance. The ancestor of the Baji Palace shouted in a deep voice. After hearing the shout of the ancestor of the Baji Palace, many people were shocked. Could there be other true immortals here? Swoosh, swoosh. The void trembled slightly. Then, 2 old men appeared. One of them was skinny and wore a black robe. He looked like an old ghost that had crawled out of hell. His aura was gloomy and terrifying. The other man was tall and burly. He had a full beard and looked quite arrogant. He looked a little like the golden mane Lion King Xiesun. The aura of the 2 men was deep and terrifying. Obviously, they were true immortal experts. Lin Feng was shocked. Why were there so many true immortals in Black Sand City? Could it be that they were all attracted by the Black Sand Devil prison? Perhaps there was such a possibility. Generally, these experts with strong foundations rarely came out. Only a change in a place like the Black Sand Devil prison could attract them. That skinny old man is the ancestor of the Black Sand region, Chu Juling. He's also a hidden expert of the Black Sand region. That tall and burly cultivator is the ancestor of the Weak Water region, Crazy Immortal Ancestor, someone said. They recognized the identity of the 2 men. Both of them had extraordinary identities. However, as hidden experts, they didn't participate in the war against the Sinner's Blood Alliance. These hidden experts were now a group of very special existences. They weren't under the command of the Heavenly Emperor. Moreover, they were above their respective families. They did things as they pleased. Now, they were only working hard to defy the heavens and change their fate. Unless their families were in danger of being exterminated, they would only help. Now that he saw the ancestors of the Black Sand region and Weak Water region, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Chapter 46-53. Of course, Lin Feng hoped that the strong cultivator who had come back to life would win. Because if that expert were to be defeated, then those 3 undying true immortal experts would definitely make a move against him. However, that expert had just been resurrected, and his combat strength had not recovered at all. Facing the siege of 3 true immortals, it was really hard to say whether he could withstand the attacks of 3 true immortals. Lin Feng's expression could not help but become solemn. Is your demonic saber the sun-slaying demonic saber? Rumor has it that it's a demonic saber forged from the sun-slaying demonic stone. It's a supreme treasure that surpasses an immortal artifact. The patriarch of the Black Sand region looked at the demonic saber in the expert's hand with a sinister gaze. The aura of this old thing was so sinister and terrifying that many people could not help but mutter. Could it be that the patriarch of the Black Sand region cultivated an evil cultivation method? Perhaps it was really possible. Moreover, it was said that the Black Sand region itself was a power that originated from an evil force, but it gradually turned white later. Back then, the other party needed to use a supreme treasure that surpassed the immortal realm to kill you. It can be seen how extraordinary you were back then. I believe your storage ring must have the top inheritance, right? There might even be an inheritance that surpasses the immortal sutra. The patriarch of the weak water region looked at the expert's storage ring with greedy eyes, as if he could not wait to snatch it immediately. Everyone was shocked. From the words of these two true immortal experts, everyone could roughly guess the other party's origin. The other party's origin was really too extraordinary. Could it be that this was an existence that surpassed the immortal realm? A transcendent immortal was a saint. If it surpassed the immortal realm, it would be too heaven-defying. However, after countless years, his combat strength was naturally no longer the same as before. This gave the three true immortal experts hope to kill him. One could imagine what kind of terrifying treasures and terrifying inheritances there were in the storage ring of an expert that surpassed the immortal realm. As for the demonic saber, there was no need to talk about it. The demonic saber that surpassed the immortal realm was simply attractive to cultivators. You're still far from being able to kill me, the expert said with an indifferent expression. The three true immortal experts immediately sneered. You actually dare to boast shamelessly with such heavy injuries. Truly laughable to the extreme. I'll take your life later. The old ancestor of the Baji Palace sneered. He was severely injured, and the hatred in his heart was monstrous. Naturally, he wanted to flaunt his tongue. Let's do it. Let's get this over and done with quickly, lest anything unexpected happens. The great ancestor of the Black Sand region said sinisterly. He could not wait to kill this expert who had just been resurrected. Kill. The three true immortals growled and launched their attacks on the expert. The old ancestor of the 8 Extreme Palace wielded a war spear and swept through the army. He was one with the spear, and his battle prowess was heaven-defying. At the same time, the other 2 experts also showed their terrifying fighting strength. The patriarch of the water realm held a giant axe, which seemed to be able to split the sky and earth. The patriarch of the Black Sand region wielded a meteor butterfly knife. The meteor butterfly knife was unfathomable and could release extremely terrifying power. The 3 true immortals cooperated with each other quite well. They split into 3 different directions and attacked the expert. In the face of the siege of 3 true immortals, the expert's expression was indifferent. The demonic blade in his hand suddenly flew in front of him. He gently tapped the demonic blade. Then, the demonic blade trembled slightly in the void. A dense number of blade shadows emerged. Every saber shadow contained boundless killing intent. Demonic blade of 10 directions. The expert's voice was indifferent. As soon as he finished speaking, the densely packed saber shadows quickly slashed out in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the saber shadows rapidly flew toward the 3 true immortals. The blade shadows were very strange. They were constantly dividing. 1 became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 6, 6 became 8. As a result, the saber images became more and more numerous, becoming more and more frightening. Anyone who sensed the terrifying power of these saber images would be struck dumb with shock. These saber images were just too powerful, to the point where they were simply unheard of. Endless saber shadows instantly engulfed the 3 true immortal experts. The expressions of the 3 true immortals changed abruptly. They did not expect the newly resurrected expert's combat strength to be so terrifying. He did not seem to be so tyrannical just now, but how long had it been? It was unbelievable that his combat strength had become so terrifying. Clearly, his combat strength was rapidly recovering during this period of time. This was extremely terrifying because it had not been long since his combat strength had recovered to such an extent. If more time passed, to what extent would his combat strength recover? By then, it would probably be extremely heaven-defying, right? Thinking of this, the three true immortals' expressions could not help but darken slightly. They held powerful weapons in their hands to block the densely packed blade shadows. Even as powerful as they were, it was still quite difficult for them to block. The surrounding cultivators who were watching the show were extremely shocked. Those cultivators simply couldn't believe their eyes. Even the three true immortal experts were being suppressed. The cultivator who had just been resurrected was really too powerful. Perhaps he really was an existence that surpassed immortals in the past. Although he has been resurrected and his combat strength has fallen greatly, his recovery speed is extremely fast. If it was his previous combat strength, the three true immortals might still be able to kill him. But now, there's no hope. A cultivator said. Many people nodded in agreement with the cultivator's words. It was indeed as the cultivator had said. It was extremely unrealistic for the three true immortals to kill the cultivator who had just been resurrected not long ago. In the end, although they had neutralized the expert's attack, they were all sent flying one by one. The three true immortals spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Many wounds appeared on their bodies, and they were simply covered in blood. They were high and mighty true immortals. When had they ever suffered such a strong attack? But at this moment, the three true immortals were only filled with horror and fear, because the other party was simply too powerful. The three true immortals did not dare to stay and quickly fled in three different directions. They wanted to escape in different directions. If the expert chased after them, it seemed that he could only chase after one of them. However, the expert did not chase after the three true immortals. He kept looking down at the demonic blade in his hand, and from time to time, he would frown as if he was thinking about something. Seeing that the expert did not chase after the three true immortals, Lin Feng was a little disappointed. However, he could not help but ponder. Who exactly was this mysterious expert? Chapter 46-54. Lin Feng wasn't the only one who was puzzled. Many others were probably puzzled as well. They didn't know how that expert did it. He was heaven-defying, but the dead couldn't be revived. This was the law of heaven and earth. However, this expert came back from the dead. Everything was too strange. It was hard to believe. At this moment, that expert raised his head. He kept his demonic blade and glanced at Lin Feng. Then, he retracted his gaze. In the next moment, his body disappeared without a trace. Oh my God! This expert is heaven-defying to an unimaginable degree. The three true immortals really kicked an iron plate this time. The three true immortals are really unlucky. They definitely didn't expect this expert to be so terrifying. Yeah, actually, with the three true immortals' combined strength, there really isn't anyone who can make them afraid. However, that expert is obviously stronger than they imagined. The three true immortals should be glad that the expert didn't chase after them. Otherwise, the three true immortals would be dead for sure. Many of the cultivators there began discussing the matter. Many of them had looks of schadenfreude on their faces. Three true immortals had nearly died. This made them feel that it was a pity. It was not easy for cultivators to fight for a chance to survive in this post-apocalyptic world. Obviously, the powerful cultivators had a higher chance of surviving to the next epoch. If the three true immortals were dead, the pressure on them would be reduced by a lot. When the apocalyptic world arrived, those top experts could easily cause other cultivators to panic. If those top experts had a good character, then it was fine. However, if they didn't, then when the apocalypse really arrived, they would wantonly slaughter cultivators to cultivate demonic arts and increase their cultivation. Many cultivators felt that the three true immortals were such people. Therefore, they couldn't wait for the three true immortals to be killed. Unfortunately, they didn't get to see this happen. Let's go. Lin Feng looked at Ning Xinwu and said. He didn't want to stay here any longer. Although he still hadn't found the whereabouts of the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. However, Lin Feng didn't plan to continue searching. This was because he felt that perhaps the mysterious expert's resurrection had something to do with the Holy Spirit. Of course, this was only Lin Feng's guess. He was unable to confirm whether his guess was correct. Then, he thought of the fact that the holy spirit of the stone tribe was able to kill the stone crocodile's life force without making a sound. This was enough to show how terrifying the holy spirit of the stone clan was. In the face of such a scary holy spirit, Lin Feng felt it was best not to continue looking for that guy. If he did find that guy, who knew what terrible things would happen? The others wanted to find him. Let the others continue to search. Aren't we going to continue looking for the holy spirit? Ning Xinwu asked. I have never looked for the holy spirit of the stone clan. I have always respected the stone clan, especially the holy spirit of the stone clan. Lin Feng said. Of course, his words were meant for the holy spirit of the stone clan. What he meant was, brother, I'm leaving now. In fact, I respect you a lot. I don't want you to come out. If you come out in the future, don't come looking for me. Lin Feng and Ning Xinwu left the stone workshop and returned to their residence. Ning Xinwu went into seclusion because she needed to concoct the insect-repelling pill. This required a certain amount of time. Apart from that, Ning Xinwu also needed to refine the Buddha resin. The Buddha resin could be used directly. However, only a portion of its power could be unleashed. Only by refining it properly could the Buddha resin's power be fully unleashed. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, it was nighttime. Lin Feng was resting. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. He realized that his room had become extremely dark. This was an abnormal kind of darkness. If it was just the sky turning dark, Lin Feng's vision would be extremely good in the dark. Powerful cultivators would have exceptional night vision. However, this time, the situation was different. Lin Feng knew that something terrifying must have happened. Could it be? Lin Feng thought of a possibility. Why are you hiding in the dark? Why are you so shameful? Lin Feng asked. Do you know who I am? A cold voice sounded from the darkness. Of course I know who you are. Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. Am I right? Lin Feng asked. Hee. The Holy Spirit laughed coldly and said, You are indeed a smart person. Sometimes, I think so too. Lin Feng replied. Smart people don't live long. The Holy Spirit said, Does that mean you want to kill me? Lin Feng asked. If you had continued your search today, you could have found me in the stone workshop. However, you didn't do so. The Holy Spirit did not answer Lin Feng's question. Instead, it continued to speak. I don't want to fall out with you. Lin Feng said. No, it's because you know that even if you find me, you won't be able to suppress me. You are too confident. Lin Feng said. I am confident because I am powerful. The Holy Spirit said. Lin Feng said. So, what is your purpose here? To kill you. I will not allow someone like you, who is proficient in stone identification, to continue living. You are a huge threat to the stone clan that has yet to be born. The Holy Spirit's voice was cold. As soon as it finished speaking, Lin Feng felt a terrifying power from the darkness enveloping his body. The situation was very dangerous. However, at that moment, an ancient Buddha skeleton appeared above Lin Feng. Namo Amitabha. The ancient Buddha skeleton opened its mouth and spoke in a Buddhist voice. Boundless Buddhist light gushed out and dispelled the darkness. The Holy Spirit's attack was also neutralized. At that moment, Lin Feng saw the Holy Spirit. It had yet to be born and was sealed in an immortal source stone that was taller than a person. The immortal source stone looked very ordinary. When he carefully sensed it, he could not sense any special aura from it. The Holy Spirit was very cunning. It hid in such an ordinary immortal source stone and isolated all auras. It was very difficult for others to discover it. You are a dark stone clan Holy Spirit, so you are destined to be restrained by me, Lin Feng said indifferently. Then, he slapped the Holy Spirit with his palm. The ancient Buddha skeleton did the same thing as Lin Feng. A Buddha character appeared in the palm of the ancient Buddha skeleton. The Buddha character was dazzling and contained endless Buddhist power. Chapter 46:55. Brat, do you really think that you can suppress me with the skeleton of an old monk? What a joke. Today, I'll let you know how powerful I am. The Holy Spirit's voice came from the immortal source stone. Then, the immortal source stone slammed into the ancient Buddha skeleton. When the immortal source stone and the ancient Buddha skeleton's attack collided, the ancient Buddha skeleton's attack was instantly broken. Then, the immortal source stone rushed to the ancient Buddha skeleton, wanting to smash it into pieces. One had to admit that the holy spirit of the Stone Clan was really terrifying. Its methods were heaven-defying. It was restrained by the ancient Buddha skeleton, but it was able to dominate the battle. This was enough to show how powerful the holy spirit of the Stone Clan was. The holy spirit of the Stone Clan's cultivation had definitely reached an unfathomable level. Otherwise, it would not be able to display such heaven-defying battle strength. Just as the immortal source stone was about to hit the ancient Buddha skeleton, Lin Feng used the powerful spatial freeze divine ability. Suddenly, the void in front of him seemed to have stopped. Spatial freeze was a top-tier divine ability recorded in the Tao of Space. This divine ability was extremely heaven-defying. Once it was used, it could instantly freeze the surrounding void. Just like what was happening right now. At this moment, the void was frozen. The immortal source stone was frozen in the void. The ancient Buddha attacked again. The ancient Buddha stretched out its right hand. Then, the ancient Buddha's right hand pointed at the immortal source stone. The ancient Buddha's right hand pointed at the immortal source stone. Endless threads of Buddha's light, condensed from karmic power, suddenly gushed out from the ancient Buddha's finger. Then, the threads of Buddha's light and karmic power wrapped around the immortal source stone. This was the sealing power condensed from Buddha's karmic power. It was extremely powerful. The immortal source stone was completely sealed. Then, Lin Feng used the 8 divine seals. He planned to add another powerful seal to it, because Lin Feng felt that one seal was not enough. Lines of formation runes intertwined in the void. Finally, all the runes were imprinted on the immortal source stone. Every seal was vibrating with terrifying energy waves. After the runes connected together, they formed a powerful sealing array. The 8 spirit sealing seals was now many times more powerful than before. Brat, how dare you seal me? You're delusional. The holy spirit of the Rock Clan roared furiously. This guy's temper was clearly extremely irritable. He kept struggling. Strands of black gas escaped from the immortal source stone, and those strands of black gas were constantly nibbling away at the seal placed on the immortal source stone by Lin Feng and the ancient Buddha skeleton. The seal that Lin Feng and the ancient Buddha skeleton had placed on the immortal origin stone was quickly cracking. When he saw this scene, Lin Feng's face suddenly revealed an extremely ugly expression. 2 layers of seals seemed to be unable to completely seal the immortal origin stone. The main reason was that the holy spirit of the Rock Clan inside the immortal origin stone was too terrifying. This dark, attributed holy spirit of the Rock Clan was proficient in all kinds of dark, attributed divine abilities. Lin Feng knew that he had to find a way to suppress it. Otherwise, his family's sealing array and the ancient Buddha skeleton's sealing array would be quickly nibbled away by the dark energy. That's right, I can use the power of light. A light bulb flashed in Lin Feng's mind. Then, his face lit up. Light restrained darkness. If he used the power of light to suppress the power of darkness, it might have a miraculous effect. After thinking about this, Lin Feng no longer hesitated. O mighty Tao of light, please descend with the power of light. Let me dispel all the darkness in this world. Lin Feng chanted the incantation for the Great Light Technique. As one of the 3,000 Great Tao, the Great Light Technique was the core of the Tao of Light. It was the nemesis of all darkness. After Lin Feng chanted the incantation, suddenly, a dazzling light illuminated the world. The power of light began to pour into the immortal source stone. After the power of light and the power of darkness collided, suddenly, the 2 powers emitted a sizzling sound. Not long after, the 2 powers began to spontaneously combust. The Great Light Technique. You really know a lot of divine powers. I have to say that your methods are very terrifying. However, your cultivation level is insufficient. You can't seal me. The Holy Spirit's voice was extremely cold. Bang, bang, bang. In the next moment, the sound of violent collisions came from the immortal source stone. The Holy Spirit seemed to be attacking the immortal source stone from the inside. It seemed that the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe wanted to come out. What? You want to come out? Your combat strength should have reached the true immortal realm, right? However, you are now inside the immortal Source Stone and are suppressed by it. You can't use your combat strength at all. Do you think I will let you out? Today, I will show you what I can do. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng unleashed another powerful divine ability. Lin Feng had used the Great Oppressive Technique, one of the 3,000 Great Tao skills, and when he used it, he was shocked. When the divine ability was unleashed, the word suppress appeared in the void. The word suppress was imprinted on the immortal Source Stone. Now, the immortal Source Stone had 3 seals on it: the ancient Buddha seal, the 8 divine seals, the Great Suppression Technique. The combined power of these 3 seals was extremely terrifying. In addition, Lin Feng's Great Light Technique restrained the dark energy escaping from the immortal Source Stone. Therefore, the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe was once again suppressed by Lin Feng. Although it wanted to destroy the immortal Source Stone from the inside and come out, its body was sealed by the immortal Source Stone. Its body was sealed inside the immortal Source Stone, and its strength was suppressed too much. Therefore, it was too difficult to break the seal of the immortal Source Stone. It seems that you won't be able to destroy the seal of the immortal Source Stone in a short time, Lin Feng said. The Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe said in a gloomy voice, "Kid, I underestimated you. You are indeed a capable person. As the saying goes, it is better to squash enmity than to keep it alive. Why don't we cooperate?" Cooperate? Why should I cooperate with you? Moreover, do you think that I can trust you? Lin Feng said indifferently. The Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe said, "You know very well that people like me are easier to trust." Lin Feng could not help but raise his eyebrows slightly. He did not respond to the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe's words. The Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe continued, "I can see that you are definitely not an ordinary person. However, you should have a lot of enemies. Anyone who wants to rise against the trend will definitely have to go through many difficulties. They will even be suppressed and ostracized by many powerful forces. This is very normal." Chapter 46:56. It had to be said that the Holy Spirit's words had struck a chord with Lin Feng's heart. The Sinner Blood Alliance seemed to have gained a firm foothold, but Lin Feng knew that compared to the other powerful factions, their foundation was still much weaker. Moreover, the Sinner Blood Alliance was still a thorn in the side of the Celestial Emperor. If the Celestial Emperor personally led the Heavenly Court's many true immortals and the Heavenly Court's army to attack the Sinner Blood Alliance, how could the Sinner Blood Alliance resist? Therefore, Lin Feng was also very clear that the Sinner Blood Alliance needed to grow stronger. They also needed powerful allies. The Holy Spirit of the Stone Race was very terrifying. This existence was a true immortal level expert, and it would not be long before it came into being. The Holy Spirit of the Stone Race was the king of the Stone Race. Once it came into being, it would definitely be able to rally the masses. When the time came, many Stone Race beings would come to join it. The Holy Spirit of the Stone Race would definitely be able to establish a powerful faction in a short period of time. Therefore, allying with the Holy Spirit of the Stone Race was indeed a very good choice. Of course, there was another thing that Lin Feng cared about. Although the Holy Spirit of the Stone Race had been sealed by him, it was still extremely difficult to kill it. For now, Lin Feng had not thought of a way to kill the Holy Spirit of the Stone Race. As time passed, if he was unable to kill the Holy Spirit of the Stone Race, once the Holy Spirit of the Stone Race broke out of the immortal origin stone, he would have another powerful enemy. Rather than having another powerful enemy, it was better to have another ally. Lin Feng said, "I can agree to allying with you. However, how can I trust you?" "That's easy. We can form a life and death alliance. When the time comes, no one will be able to go against this agreement. If anyone goes against the agreement, they will die without a grave." The Holy Spirit of the Stone Race said, "Life and death alliance? What kind of agreement is that?" Lin Feng asked, puzzled. The Holy Spirit of the Stone Race said, "This is a contract passed down in the Stone Race. It's like some people selling their souls to demons. these people's strength will greatly increase. What they signed was an agreement to sell their souls for power. The life and death alliance I'm talking about is a guarantee with our lives. If we sign this life and death alliance, we'll support each other. No matter what happens in the future, we'll still be the most trustworthy allies. If we dare to betray each other, the power of the oath will instantly destroy the soul of the betrayer. At that time, the betrayer will die immediately. Good. Then let's sign a life and death alliance. Lin Feng nodded. This agreement was fair to both parties. Moreover, Lin Feng was a person who would never betray any of his friends. Therefore, when the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan told him that, Lin Feng immediately agreed. Hearing Lin Feng's agreement, the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe began to swear an oath. I, the Stone Emperor, swear on my life that I am willing to sign a life and death alliance with Lin Feng. From now on, we'll be the closest allies. I'll be loyal to my allies. If there comes a day when I violate this life and death alliance, I'll be struck by lightning. My body and soul will be destroyed, and I'll die a horrible death. After swearing the oath, the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe said, "Swear the same oath as I said. Apart from the names, everything else is the same. Don't make a mistake. If you make a mistake, the life and death alliance won't take effect." Okay. Lin Feng nodded and swore an oath. I, Lin Feng, swear on my life that I am willing to sign a life and death alliance with the Stone Emperor. From now on, we'll be the closest allies. I'll be loyal to my allies. If there comes a day when I violate this life and death alliance, I'll be struck by lightning. My body and soul will be destroyed, and I'll die a horrible death. Lin Feng swore the same oath. Lin Feng sensed a talisman of oath appear in his third eye. That oath rune was the oath rune formed by the life and death alliance. That oath rune was very powerful, mysterious, complex, and strange. It was indeed worthy of being an oath passed down by the Stone Tribe. Now that we've formed an alliance, can you remove the seal on my body? The Stone Tribe Holy Spirit said. No problem. Lin Feng nodded. He first stored the ancient Buddha skeleton in the Chenglu Devil Palace. Then, Lin Feng removed the 3 seals. I like the feeling of freedom. The immortal source stone flew into the air. Then, the Stone Tribe Holy Spirit's voice came out from the immortal source stone. You're free now, Lin Feng said. No, I'm not free now. I'm still trapped inside the immortal source stone. You attack the immortal source stone from the outside. I'll attack it from the inside. We'll work together to break this immortal source stone. The Stone Tribe Holy Spirit said. Is it so difficult to break this immortal source stone? I'll just use the stone-cutting blade to cut it open. Lin Feng said. The Stone Tribe Holy Spirit said, although this immortal source stone looks very ordinary from the outside, it's not ordinary at all. It's an immortal source stone condensed from an extremely rare material. The stone-cutting blade can't cut it open at all. In fact, don't talk about cutting it open. The stone-cutting blade can't even leave a mark on it. Hearing this, Lin Feng could not help but be shocked. No wonder this guy failed to destroy the immortal source stone from the inside. Lin Feng originally thought that it was because the Stone Tribe Holy Spirit was trapped inside the immortal source stone and could not release all of its power. Secondly, the 3 seals on the immortal source stone were too powerful. Therefore, the Stone Tribe Holy Spirit was unable to break out of the immortal source stone. But now, it seems that the most fundamental reason was that the immortal source stone itself was too extraordinary. Therefore, it was very difficult to break this immortal source stone. However, when he thought about how this immortal source stone was used to seal the Stone Tribe Holy Spirit, everything made sense. Lin Feng felt that the Stone Tribe Holy Spirit was very likely the royal family of the Stone Tribe. It was definitely an extremely heaven-defying existence. Lin Feng took out the black dragon sword and said, "Then let's work together to destroy this immortal source stone." As his voice fell, he slashed at the immortal source stone. The Stone Tribe Holy Spirit attacked from the inside of the immortal source stone, trying to destroy it. Clang! When Lin Feng's sword slashed at the immortal source stone, the immortal source stone actually rebounded with an extremely terrifying power that sent Lin Feng flying. Lin Feng's hands were numb from the impact, and the black dragon sword almost slipped out of his hands. Chapter 46-57. This stone is actually so hard? Moreover, it can release such a powerful shockwave? Lin Feng's face is filled with shock. That sword attack just now was so tyrannical, yet it was unable to break the stone. If it can't break the stone, then so be it. Lin Feng was actually sent flying. From this, one can see how heaven-defying this stone is. Now you know how hard this stone is, right? Stone Clan Holy Spirit said. It is indeed very terrifying. Lin Feng nodded. Then he said, why did you use this stone to seal yourself in the past? Can't you find another stone to seal yourself in? Originally, Lin Feng thought that Stone Clan Holy Spirit was a creature born from immortal source stones. Lin Feng was not the only one who thought so. Many people thought so too. However, after talking with Stone Clan Holy Spirit, Lin Feng found out that Stone Clan Holy Spirit was not a creature born from immortal source stones. Stone Clan Holy Spirit was born long ago and was later sealed in immortal source stones. Stone Clan Holy Spirit said, I also did not want to use this stone to seal myself. In fact, it was not me who sealed myself. Did someone seal you inside the immortal origin stone? Lin Feng asked in astonishment. That's right. Stone Clan Holy Spirit nodded. However, it did not continue to talk about this matter. Clearly, it did not want to talk about this topic. Lin Feng said, I thought of a method. Perhaps we can try it. What method? Stone Clan Holy Spirit asked. Use heavenly fire to melt the immortal source stone. Lin Feng said. Stone Clan Holy Spirit rolled its eyes and said, Are you trying to burn me to death? With your cultivation, at most you will suffer a bit. You won't be roasted to death with the immortal source stone in between. Lin Feng said. Stone Clan's Holy Spirit said, No matter how powerful the heavenly flame is, the material of this immortal source stone is no small matter. I'm afraid the heavenly flame will not be able to melt this immortal source stone. Lin Feng smiled and said, The internal structure of anything that is burned at high temperature will change. It may become softer or harder, but no matter if it is softer or harder, because its internal structure has been damaged, this is often the time when it is most vulnerable and the time when it is most easily destroyed. The same goes for the immortal source stone. Even if the immortal source stone cannot be melted, under the high temperature of the heavenly fire, the internal structure of the immortal source stone will definitely be destroyed. At that time, destroying the immortal source stone will be much easier. Why do I feel like I'm cooking beggar's chicken? I won't get roasted inside the immortal source stone, right? The Holy Spirit said in a depressed tone, Make beggar's chicken? That's a good metaphor. But the beggar's chicken will be roasted in the end, but you won't. If you can't stand it, you can call it out. Don't be embarrassed. I won't spread it out. Lin Feng said, I feel like you're deliberately messing with me. The Holy Spirit said in a suspicious tone, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. How could I deliberately mess with you? I'm your best friend. Lin Feng said, Then let's try it. I've had enough of staying here. The Holy Spirit said. Lin Feng nodded. Then, he took out the 7 heavenly fires. The purple earthcore fire, the black fire, the netherworld fire, the golden dragon divine fire, the black fire, the azure dragon true fire, and the snow spirit bone fire flew out and wrapped around the immortal source stone. The 7 heavenly fires began to burn the immortal source stone repeatedly. You actually have 7 heavenly fires. When the Holy Spirit saw Lin Feng take out 7 heavenly fires, it was extremely shocked. It could not even believe its eyes. Heavenly fires were extremely precious, and the number of heavenly fires was very small. At the beginning of the era, only 72 heavenly fires had been condensed. After a long time, many heavenly fires had disappeared. The number of heavenly fires that could survive until now could be counted with one's fingers. But Lin Feng had managed to control 7 celestial fires on his own. This kind of thing was indeed too unbelievable. It was no wonder that the Holy Spirit was so shocked. Lin Feng said indifferently, Don't be so surprised. It's just 7 heavenly fires. It's nothing. Damn it. Can you stop acting cool in front of me? the Holy Spirit said angrily. Lin Feng smiled and did not say anything else. He focused on controlling the 7 heavenly fires to burn the immortal source stone. Under the burning of the 7 heavenly fires, the temperature of the immortal source stone rose very quickly. After being repeatedly burned at an extremely high temperature, the immortal source stone's texture became even harder. During the entire process, the Holy Spirit did not even make a sound. It seemed that the Holy Spirit cared a lot about its reputation. It endured and did not make a sound. Try and see if you can destroy the immortal source stone, the Holy Spirit shouted. It seemed that the Holy Spirit could not hold on any longer. No problem. You do it inside. I'll do it outside. We'll do our best to destroy the immortal source stone, Lin Feng said. Okay, replied the Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan. Lin Feng put the 7 celestial fires away. Then, he took out the Black Dragon Sword. He held the Black Dragon Sword and slashed at the immortal source stone. Clang! It was accompanied by the sound of metal clashing. After the Black Dragon Sword slashed at the immortal source stone, stone fragments flew everywhere. Just as Lin Feng had guessed, after the immortal source stone's internal structure was destroyed, its defensive power was not as good as before. At this time, the immortal source stone emitted a clanging sound, like the sound of iron being forged. The Holy Spirit attacked the immortal source stone from the inside, trying to destroy it. Lin Feng slashed at the immortal source stone again and again. Inside the immortal origin stone, the Holy Spirit of the Stone Tribe continued to bombard the immortal origin stone. Under the continuous attacks from both sides, cracks began to appear on the immortal origin stone. After seeing those cracks, Lin Feng's face showed a trace of joy. It seems that the immortal source stone is about to be destroyed. Soon, the inside is already filled with cracks. I'm finally going to come out. I, the Stone Emperor, will finally see the light of day again. Ha 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 ha. The Holy Spirit of the Stone Clan laughed like a madman. Why are you so happy? Lin Feng said speechlessly. The Holy Spirit said, you don't understand what it's like to be sealed inside the immortal source stone for so long. I don't want to understand what it's like, Lin Feng said with a faint smile. He did not want to be sealed inside the immortal source stone. Lin Feng slashed at the immortal source stone dozens of times. The Holy Spirit's attacks were also very tyrannical. Both sides worked together. Finally. Chapter 46-58. Crack, crack. The immortal source stone cracked faster and faster. Bang! Along with the sound of a violent explosion, a huge explosion rang out. The immortal source stone exploded into pieces. Then, a cultivator appeared in Lin Feng's sight. It was a very young cultivator with golden hair and a handsome face. Ha 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 ha, the air outside is so good. I, Stone King, am destined to belong to the outside world. I like the feeling of freedom. From now on, no one will be able to restrict my freedom. The Stone Race Saint Spirit shouted excitedly. This guy's name was Stone Emperor. Everyone knew what his name meant. It meant that he was the Stone Emperor. The fact that he dared to give himself such a name showed how prideful he was. Fortunately, I've sealed the room with restrictions. Otherwise, if you don't sleep and scream in the middle of the night, those people who woke you up would drown you with their saliva. Lin Feng was speechless. Cough, cough. I got a little carried away, Stone King said with a grin. By the way, do you know who the mysterious expert who came back to life was? Lin Feng asked. That guy? I'm not too sure. However, the demonic saber that pierced his heart was the Suncutter demonic saber. It reminded me of a legend. Stone King said with narrowed eyes. Legend? What legend? Lin Feng asked curiously. Stone King said, the legend is about the Suncutter demonic saber. Legend has it that the Suncutter demonic saber was a supreme treasure forged by the Suncutter Demon Emperor. The Suncutter Demon Emperor was an extremely terrifying existence. He once competed with the third Demon Lord for the position of Demon Lord. It was said that both of them had the chance to become the third Demon Lord, but their chances were very balanced. Neither of them gave way to the other, so they decided to have a duel to determine the victor. The victor would be crowned the third Demon Lord. The duel was so intense that the sun and moon lost their light. In the end, the Suncutter Demon Emperor lost by half a move. Therefore, he failed to be crowned the third Demon Lord. Lin Feng was shocked to hear that. The Suncutter Demon Emperor was so terrifying. It was truly inconceivable. No wonder the demonic Sunslayer saber has already transcended immortality. The demonic Sunslayer Emperor has probably transcended immortality as well, right? Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. Yes, he has surpassed a mortal. His battle prowess was so strong. It's simply unimaginable. The Stone Emperor nodded and said, I heard that the Sunslaying Demon Emperor was refining his Sunslaying Demon Saber during the war. At that time, his Sunslaying Demon Saber had not been refined successfully, but his competitor had refined his natal magic weapon to the level beyond the immortal realm. If the Sunslaying Demon Emperor had refined his Sunslaying Demon Saber to the level beyond the immortal weapon before the war, the result of that war would have been completely different from the previous one. Lin Feng said, magic treasures are too important for practitioners. Many times, a practitioner's magic treasures may even change the situation of the battle. It seems that the Sun-slaying Demon Emperor did not lose in terms of cultivation, but in terms of magic treasures. The Stone Emperor said, that's right. Sometimes, magic treasures play a great role in a great battle. The defeat of the Sun-slaying Demon Emperor was actually foreshadowed. The Sun-slaying Demon Saber pierced that cultivator's chest. Was the Suncutter Demon Emperor the one who killed that cultivator? Lin Feng frowned when he thought of the cultivator who had come back to life. Perhaps that cultivator was really killed by the Suncutter Demon Emperor. Otherwise, why would the Sunslaying Demon Saber be pierced through his chest? This kind of thing seemed to be rather easy to guess. Why do I feel that he wasn't killed by the Suncutter Demon Emperor? The Stone Emperor said, Oh, why do you say that? Lin Feng asked in surprise. Intuition. The Stone Emperor said. Lin Feng stroked his chin and asked, What happened to the Suncutter Demon Emperor in the end? The Stone Emperor said, I'm not sure. However, there are rumors that the Suncutter Demon Emperor encountered a problem in his cultivation. As a result, he suffered a calamity and eventually died. However, I don't think this rumor is reliable. After all, how could someone as powerful as the Suncutter Demon Emperor die so easily? Lin Feng frowned and said, Do you think that the resurrected cultivator could be the Suncutter Demon Emperor? That's impossible, right? Would the Suncutter Demon Emperor stab himself with his life-bound magic treasure that he had refined his entire life? The Stone Emperor asked. Lin Feng said, What if he didn't stab himself? Are you saying that someone pierced the Sunslaying Demon Emperor's chest with the Sunslaying Demon Blade? The Stone Emperor frowned and said, Do you think that's possible? Who could snatch the Suncutter Demon Saber from the Suncutter Demon Emperor? Lin Feng said. More importantly, even if the Suncutter Demon Saber was stolen, it might not be possible to use it. The Stone Emperor said, Therefore, your guess should be nonsense. Said Lin Feng. The reason why I think that strong cultivator is the Sun-slaying Demon Emperor is because I have proof. What reasons? The Stone Emperor asked. Lin Feng said, The Suncutter Demon Saber has a perfect compatibility with the Suncutter Demon Emperor. That's why he was able to unleash the Suncutter Demon Saber's power. The Stone Emperor fell silent after hearing Lin Feng's explanation. He said, Perhaps it's because the Sun-slaying demonic saber has been in his body for too long. During this long period of time, the Sun-slaying demonic saber has absorbed a lot of his blood and become familiar with his body's aura. That's why he can activate the Sun-slaying demonic saber's power. Lin Feng said, That's possible. The two did not continue discussing the Suncutter Demon Saber's identity. The Stone Emperor said, After the Stone Workshop, I'm sure many people want to get rid of you. For example, Xing Yu and Ming Yu. Lin Feng said, Ming Yu is a scheming person. I don't think he'll make a move. Xing Yu will most likely make a move against me. Of course, there are also the people from the Baji Palace. They will most likely make a move against me. The Stone Emperor asked, Do you need my help? We can work together to get rid of them. Lin Feng said, No need. If I can't even deal with these people, then I'm useless. The Stone Emperor smiled and said, It's getting late. You should rest early. I want to lie on the bed and have a good sleep. I've even forgotten what it feels like to lie on a bed. As soon as he finished speaking, the Stone Emperor lay on Lin Feng's bed. Lin Feng said speechlessly, "This is my bed, but it's my bed now. Isn't there a beauty here? Why don't you sleep with her?" Chapter 46:59. However, he had been busy with the funeral for the past few days. He still had to work hard to update so much. It was really tiring. He really couldn't write the 8th update today. He could only write it at 7 today. Tomorrow at 8. Old Mantu wanted to sleep. He was too tired, too tired. Chapter 46:60. Shi Zhonghuang couldn't say anything good, so Lin Feng didn't bother arguing with him. After that, Stone Emperor stayed at Lin Feng's place, refusing to leave. Ning Xinwu, on the other hand, was refining the insect repellent pill. As for young Master Xing Yu and the 8 Extreme Palace, they did not make a move against Lin Feng. They probably did not want to make a move within Black Sand City. That would make them too big of a target. As for the 3 true immortal experts that had been injured by the resurrected expert, they did not appear again. They were probably too embarrassed to show themselves in Black Sand City. At their level, which one of them did not care about their reputation? However, the impact of that battle was simply too great for them. The 3 of them had lost all their dignity. Therefore, they naturally did not appear in front of others. Even if they were still in Black Sand City, they would not show themselves easily. However, Lin Feng had a feeling that they had left Black Sand City. Perhaps they had gone to Black Sand Devil Prison. The changes in Black Sand Devil Prison were still ongoing. Moreover, the fluctuations were getting stronger and stronger. Lin Feng noticed that Stone Emperor would occasionally look in the direction of Black Sand Devil Prison. He seemed to be thinking about something. It was unknown what this guy was thinking. Perhaps he knew something about Black Sand Devil Prison. "Do you know anything about Black Sand Devil Prison?" Lin Feng asked. The Stone Emperor said, "This place is very scary. You can't just look at this place as a place of death. This place is between a place of death and a forbidden zone of life. It has some of the characteristics of a place of death and a forbidden zone of life." Lin Feng frowned slightly. "Have you entered a forbidden zone of life before?" Stone Emperor smiled and said, "Of course. If I haven't, I wouldn't dare to say that I have." "Which forbidden zone have you been to?" Lin Feng asked curiously. Forbidden zones of life were extremely rare. It was difficult to find a true forbidden zone of life in many great worlds. One might have to enter the 3 supreme realms or the wasteland to find one. Splinter Soul Mountain, the forbidden zone of life in the wasteland. It's a truly terrifying place. Who knows how many experts have their souls severed there? The Stone Emperor sighed. The Stone Emperor of the past was definitely extraordinary. Lin Feng even guessed that the Stone Emperor of the past was much more powerful than he was now. However, after being sealed for so many years, his cultivation had dropped a lot. After all, divine stones and immortal origin stones were different. Some top-grade divine stones sealed their bodies, so their cultivation might not drop, but immortal origin stones sealed their bodies, so their cultivation would drop. Why does everyone still want to enter the forbidden zone when it's so dangerous? Lin Feng asked. There are naturally many reasons, but in the final analysis, they all want to obtain something from the life forbidden zone. For example, some people need some rare immortal medicine, which is not available in the outside world, so they can only take the risk and enter the life forbidden zone. Some people want to obtain a method to defy the heavens and change their fate, but it is already difficult to find such a method in the outside world, so they can only enter the life forbidden zone and to take a gamble. Any cultivator who enters the Deadmire must have a reason for doing so. Otherwise, who would enter that place? To put it bluntly, if you enter the land of death, you might be recognized by the land of death and become one of its creatures. Then, you can hide in the land of death. That way, the mastermind won't be able to do anything to you. But what about the land of death? Creatures from the outside world can't hide in that place. Once they enter, it'll be too difficult for them to escape. The Stone Emperor said. Lin Feng asked curiously, "Why did you enter the life forbidden zone in the past?" "Me?" The Stone Emperor smiled faintly and said, I wanted to prove to others that I'm not inferior to anyone. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. If the Stone Emperor's words were true, in that case, didn't that mean that something had happened to the Stone Emperor that made him feel sad in the past? Perhaps everyone had a period of time like that. 10 days later, Ning Xianwu came out of seclusion. She had finished refining the Buddha resin. Apart from that, she had also refined a cauldron of insect repellent pills. Lin Feng introduced Ning Xianwu and the Stone Emperor to each other. When she heard that the person in front of her was the Stone Clan's sacred spirit, she was shocked. Ning Xianwu was clearly very surprised. She never imagined that Lin Feng would become friends with the Stone Clan's sacred spirit. From the looks of it, they seemed to have been good friends for many years. Long legs, thin waist, pretty face, and a sweet little jacket. Brother, your taste in women is pretty good. It's as good as mine back then, the Stone Emperor said with a wicked smile. After spending some time with the Stone Emperor, Lin Feng had a good understanding of his personality. The Stone Emperor was definitely a slut. His personality was that of a slut. That was why the Stone Emperor was capable of saying anything. Ning Xianwu blushed as she explained her relationship with Lin Feng. The Stone Emperor said, "There's no need to explain. Explaining is just covering things up. The more you explain, the worse it gets. Am I disturbing you? Do you want me to give you a room?" Hearing that, Ning Xianwu's face turned red. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. He really had the urge to send the Stone Emperor flying with a punch. In terms of slut attributes, the Stone Emperor was comparable to Du Zhu. It was just that he didn't know what Du Zhu, the heretic sovereign sage, and the two ghost emperors had gone out to do. Otherwise, he could let Du Zhu and the Stone Emperor compete in sluttiness. Let's see who this slut king was. Lin Feng said, "If you don't want to be thrown out, then stop talking dirty." The Stone Emperor laughed. He didn't continue to tease Lin Feng and Ning Xianwu. He said, "I heard that you're refining insect repellent pills and Buddha resin. Give me a portion." These things were precious. Ning Xianwu naturally wouldn't give them to the Stone Emperor just because he asked for them. Ning Xianwu looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded. Ning Xianwu took out 5 insect repellent pills and a dozen drops of refined Buddha resin and gave them to the Stone Emperor. The Stone Emperor said sourly, "Little girl, as an experienced person, I have to remind you. As a woman, don't let a man take charge of everything. You haven't even consummated your marriage with this brat, and you're already doing things according to his mood. If you really become this brat's woman in the future, you'll become a slave." Ning Xianwu blushed at the Stone Emperor's words. She didn't know how to reply. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Lin Feng looked at the Stone Emperor speechlessly and said, "Are you a woman? You're just a rough man, and you still have the nerve to say that you're experienced?" Chapter 46-61. Lin Feng, you're such a heartless bastard. Today, I've seen through you. Ouch. My ass. Shizhong Emperor screamed outside. Then, he clutched his butt and grimaced in pain as he limped outside. This guy was most likely putting on an act. Lin Feng didn't use much strength in that kick. That guy likes to talk nonsense. Don't mind him, Lin Feng said. Ning Xianwu nodded with a red face. At this moment, Lin Feng thought of something. He realized that during this period, Ning Xianwu had been occupying this body. Ning Xianwu had never appeared. This made Lin Feng very surprised. Why didn't Ning Xianwu appear? Logically speaking, these two personalities should appear repeatedly. Lin Feng couldn't figure this out. However, it was better that Ning Xianwu didn't appear. Compared to Ning Xianwu's personality, Lin Feng naturally preferred Ning Xianwu. Ning Xianwu was obedient. Ning Xianwu was vicious and merciless. It was an extreme contrast. In the next few days, Ning Xianwu didn't appear. Now, Lin Feng could basically confirm that Ning Xianwu wouldn't appear for a period of time. As for Shizhong Emperor, he didn't know where he ran off to. Ever since he obtained the insect-repelling pill and Buddha resin from Ning Xianwu, he left. Lin Feng previously thought that Shizhong Emperor had some understanding of Black Sand Devil Prison. Could it be that this guy wanted to act on his own? This bastard couldn't be thinking of taking all the benefits, right? The changes in Black Sand Devil Prison were still ongoing. On this day, Du Zhu, evil Dominator Saint, and the two Ghost Emperors returned. Where did you guys go? Lin Feng asked. We met an enemy, Du Zhu said with gritted teeth. Enemy? Who? Lin Feng asked curiously. Young Master Xian Song from the Floating Cloud Palace. When we first came to the Undying Realm, we found an ancient cultivator's cave, but who would have thought that young Master Xian Song would secretly follow us? We were no match for young Master Xian Song. Those things were snatched away by young Master Xian Song. That bastard even wanted to kill us, Du Zhu said fiercely. Thinking back to the way young Master Xian Song looked at them, Du Zhu still gnashed his teeth for many years. It was as if he was looking at an ant or a dog. When they first came to the Undying Realm, they were indeed not strong enough. Because of that, he was humiliated by young Master Xian Song. To cultivators, this was naturally a great enmity. Who is young Master Xian Song? Lin Feng asked curiously. Young Master Xian Song is a top genius of the Floating Cloud Palace. He is already a heavenly immortal, but his talent is heaven-defying, so his battle prowess far exceeds his cultivation level. His brother is even more powerful. His brother is young Master Qing Song, one of the 8 great young masters of the Undying Realm. His brother's fiancée, his future sister-in-law, is also a powerful figure. Her name is Murong Yuxuan. She comes from the godly King Valley, a hidden power, one of the ancient powers that has taken root in the Undying Realm. Her foundation is unimaginable. She is also one of the 10 great fairies of the Undying Realm. Not only is she beautiful, but her talent and cultivation are also heaven-defying, Du Zhu said with great familiarity. Clearly, he had already done his research. They are indeed some troublesome characters, Lin Feng said. Du Zhu said. The Floating Cloud Palace is a very interesting power. The Heavenly Emperor has 3 wives, and his second wife is from the Floating Cloud Palace. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows and said, It seems like the Heavenly Emperor wants the Floating Cloud Palace's support through marriage. Du Zhu nodded. Of course. After all, the Heavenly Emperor was an outsider back then. Although his cultivation is strong, he can't do it alone. To gain control of the Undying Realm, he has to establish relations with some of the top powers in the Undying Realm. As a top power in the Undying Realm, the Floating Cloud Palace is one of the Heavenly Emperor's targets. It is said that the Heavenly Emperor had a falling out with his first wife because of the marriage. His first wife should be Di Wudao's mother, right? Lin Feng asked. Du Zhu nodded. That's right, Di Wudao's mother. Di Wudao's mother's identity is not to be underestimated. It is said that she comes from the bloodline of a certain celestial master, but there are also rumors that his mother is a disciple of a certain celestial master. Lin Feng said. I have heard of the second rumor. Hee. Du Zhu suddenly laughed mischievously. Lin Feng knew Du Zhu too well. The moment Du Zhu revealed such a mischievous expression, he would definitely say something inappropriate. Du Zhu said, Actually, there is another rumor. What is it? Lin Feng asked. Du Zhu lowered his voice and said, It is said that Di Wudao is not the Heavenly Emperor's son, but the son of the Celestial Master and Di Wudao's mother. Holy shit, is that for real? A look of disbelief appeared on Lin Feng's face. Ning Xinwu said, Nonsense. What kind of person is the Celestial Master? If he wants a woman, what kind of woman can't he find? Is there a need for him to do something inappropriate with his own disciple? Moreover, the Heavenly Emperor is so powerful. Isn't it the same as offending the Heavenly Emperor by making him a cuckold? Poison Ancestor grinned and said, I've only heard about it from rumors. I don't know if it's true or not, but as the saying goes, there's no smoke without fire. Since there's such a rumor, who knows if it's true or not? Lin Feng said, If it is true, then it will be interesting. I don't believe that such a thing can be hidden from the Heavenly Emperor. If the Heavenly Emperor made the son of a cuckold his crown prince, what is he thinking? Ha 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 ha, only the Heavenly Emperor himself knows. Du Zhu laughed. He naturally hoped that the rumor was true. If it was true, then it would be very interesting. After all these years, had the Heavenly Emperor ever been disgusted to death? He would probably be gnashing his teeth in hatred every day, right? Where is that young Master Xian Song now? Lin Feng asked. That bastard is outside the Black Sand prison, Du Zhu said. Lin Feng nodded and said, If there is a chance, I will kill that bastard to avenge you all. Duzu gritted his teeth and said, I have been waiting for this day for a long time. 3 days later, the Black Sand devilish prison underwent a drastic change. Terrifying waves of energy surged out from the Black Sand devilish prison. These waves were many times stronger than before. Moreover, everyone could see that in the depths of the Black Sand prison, a hazy figure had appeared. Chapter 46-62. When they saw the hazy cage, countless cultivators were shocked. Everyone had been waiting for the mysterious cage to appear. Now, the cage had really appeared. Black Sand City was in an uproar. Countless cultivators began to discuss spiritedly. Black Sand Devil Prison is undergoing a mutation. What are we waiting for? Let's go and take a look. When the Black Sand Devil Prison undergoes a mutation, it will be relatively safe. We don't need to go to the depths of the Black Sand Devil Prison to get some good stuff. We don't need to go to the depths of the Black Sand Devil Prison to look for inheritances and magic treasures left behind by experts. We can go to the outskirts of the Black Sand Devil Prison to dig for immortal source stones. If we can dig out 8 or 10 immortal source stones, we will be rich. Go, go, go. Let's go to the Black Sand Devil Prison. We must take advantage of this opportunity to find a heaven-defying opportunity. If we miss this opportunity, it will be too difficult to find another one. Countless cultivators quickly flew towards the direction of the Black Sand Dungeon. However, these cultivators had different goals. In fact, most of the cultivators were going to the Black Sand Devil Prison to dig for immortal source stones. Only a small number of cultivators from large factions were very powerful. Their goal was the opportunity in the Black Sand Devil Prison. A large number of cultivators flew toward the Black Sand Devil Prison. Lin Feng saw too many people along the way. Many people were excitedly discussing the situation in the Black Sand Devil Prison. However, Lin Feng found that most of them were discussing where to go to dig for immortal source stones. In fact, immortal source stones could occasionally be dug out from the forests outside the Black Sand Devil Prison. However, the probability of digging out immortal source stones there was very low. Even if one dug for a long time, they might not be able to find one. Moreover, no one dared to enter the Black Sand Devil Prison. Now that the Black Sand Devil Prison had undergone a mutation, everyone saw hope. Most of the cultivators clearly knew their own limits. They knew their own abilities. Therefore, they did not seek to snatch the opportunities that were difficult to obtain. As long as they could obtain some immortal source stones, it would be a great harvest. The price of immortal source stones in the Black Sand Devil Prison was extremely terrifying. It was several times, or even 10 times higher than the price of immortal source stones in other places. This was the main reason why so many cultivators were so crazy. When Lin Feng and Ning Xinwu arrived at the outer region of the Black Sand Devil Prison, they saw a large number of cultivators already there. It could really be described as a sea of people. As for Du Zhu and the others, they had already arrived in advance because they were planning their revenge. Therefore, they needed to know the exact number of experts around young Master Xianzong. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Not long after, Du Zhu, the evil dominator holy sage, and the 2 ghost emperors arrived. They could sense Lin Feng's aura, so it was easy for them to find Lin Feng. How's your investigation going? Lin Feng asked. There is an old man beside young Master Xianzong who is very scary. The others are easy to deal with. Du Zhu said. Where are they? Lin Feng asked. They are not far from here. Please follow us, young master. Du Zhu said. Lin Feng nodded, then followed Du Zhu and the others to where young Master Xianzong and the others were. Young Master Xianzong and the others stood in the forest. There were about 30 of them, and the man in blue robes was young Master Xianzong. Beside young Master Xianzong stood an old man. The old man was wearing a green robe, and he was very skinny. His eyes were deep, and he was definitely a terrifying expert. True immortal. Lin Feng frowned. That was a true immortal expert, and he was probably one of the hidden experts of the Floating Cloud Palace. For a top faction like the Floating Cloud Palace, it was normal for them to have a true immortal expert. These experts usually sealed themselves in God stones. Now that the apocalypse had arrived, these experts came out one after another. They wanted to fight for the heaven and earth's fate in the apocalypse. Then, they would be able to transcend. However, it was obviously not an easy task. It was precisely because this matter was so difficult that they had to seize every opportunity. Something like the strange happening in the Black Sand Devil prison was one of the things that attracted these experts the most. Naturally, they would not let go of such an opportunity. True immortal experts are very difficult to deal with, especially those with a strong background. Their methods are usually even more terrifying. Let's not act rashly for the time being, Lin Feng said. Du Zhu and the others nodded. They had the same idea. The few of them left the area and found a place with fewer people to rest. Then, they waited for the Black Sand Devil prison seal to disappear completely. Now, although the Black Sand Devil prison seal was not as strong as before, it was still very terrifying. Naturally, it was not a good opportunity to enter the Black Sand Devil prison. They would have to wait for a rare opportunity to enter. Otherwise, they would most likely be killed in the Black Sand Devil dungeon. Many strong experts arrived one after another. For example, the 8 princes and some of the 10 fairies. Besides that, there were also many top geniuses, experts of the middle generation, and experts of the older generation. The experts of these top factions came one after another. Obviously, these top factions and experts had their eyes on the prison. Over the long years, the living beings imprisoned in the prison have all died. Therefore, the items left behind by those living beings will be the target of these top factions. Rumor has it that there's a core area in the prison. The living beings imprisoned there are terrifying. However, one needs a token to enter that place. Token? What token? I'm not sure. Perhaps only the top factions have heard of such things. Many people were discussing the prison that had appeared in the depths of the Black Sand Devil prison. At first, the prison was a little blurry, but as time passed, that blurry prison became more and more real. Moreover, the restrictions that permeated the world were also rapidly dissipating. Perhaps after those restrictions completely dissipated, the heavenly deity would be able to reach the heavenly deity realm. The mysterious prison in the Black Sand Devil dungeon would be completely revealed. Although everyone was anxious to enter the Black Sand Devil prison, there was nothing they could do. However, there was nothing they could do. They could only wait for the Black Sand Devilish prison's restriction to disappear. At this time, no one wanted to take the risk. Great Demon Yu, Lin Feng frowned. He saw an old acquaintance, the Great Demon Yu. This terrifying existence had actually appeared here. Chapter 46-63. The Great Demon Yu was an existence that no one dared to provoke. Her cultivation was too strong, and her background was too extraordinary. Who would dare to provoke her? Lin Feng didn't show himself after seeing the Great Demon Yu. Who knew what she would do if she saw him? After all, Lin Feng and the Great Demon Yu didn't have a good relationship. In the past, the Great Demon Yu wanted to take Lin Feng as a male slave. Lin Feng, on the other hand, made her kneel on the ground and sing Conquer. He even clamored to take her as his personal maid. Apart from the Great Demon Yu, Lin Feng also saw the son of Donghuang and the others, but he didn't see Huang Fu Qingtian. Huang Fu Qingtian's arm had been cut off by Lin Feng. Who knew where he was hiding now? Is the Donghuang bell here? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. The Donghuang bells might shook the world. In fact, the son of Donghuang was also under its command. On the second day, Lin Feng saw another powerful figure arrive. It was the moon goddess. She was still as beautiful as ever, like a fairy who had walked out of the moon palace. She was the junior sister of his ancestor, the Lord of Gods, but he didn't know why. Later, she was suppressed by his ancestor, the Lord of Gods. Of course, his ancestor didn't kill her. Now, she had come into being and was unimaginably powerful. She hated the Lord of Gods, so she hated everything related to him. She also didn't have a good impression of Lin Feng. Back then, she had promised the Lord of Gods that she wouldn't attack the descendants of the sovereign clan. Therefore, she didn't personally deal with Lin Feng. Instead, she sent her subordinates to deal with Lin Feng. Otherwise, Lin Feng would have died many times over. Lin Feng sensed a faint fluctuation in space. He probed with his divine sense and found that it was coming from a wooden sword. It was none other than the wooden sword that the moon goddess had given to Lin Feng. Back then, the moon goddess had said that the wooden sword belonged to the Lord of Gods. Moon God couldn't give the wooden sword to the Master of Gods, so she gave it to Lin Feng. The moon goddess seemed to have sensed something. She looked at Lin Feng. Then, the two of them looked at each other. Lin Feng quickly retracted his gaze. The moon goddess would not stop her subordinates from killing him. Therefore, Lin Feng naturally did not want to wander around in front of the moon goddess. "Let's go," Lin Feng said. He quickly left with Du Zhu and the others. "Who is that outrageously beautiful woman? She's so scary," Ning Xinwu asked. Lin Feng said, "A crazy woman." Luckily, the moon goddess didn't hear what Lin Feng called her. If he heard it, the moon goddess probably even wanted to kill Lin Feng. Du Zhu said, "Fortunately, this place is rather far from the heavenly court. If it was closer to the heavenly court, I think even the celestial emperor would come." Lin Feng nodded and said, "There is indeed such a possibility." 3 days later, the restriction of the Black Sand Devil prison finally dissipated. The prison was truly revealed. The prison was simply too huge. It was even taller than a mountain peak. It emitted endless devil aura. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Figures quickly flew towards the interior of the Black Sand Devil prison. These cultivators were very fast. The first batch of cultivators to enter the Black Sand Devil prison were all top experts. Most of them were cultivators from large factions. Of course, there were also rogue cultivators. However, there weren't many of them. The restriction of the Black Sand Devil prison has dissipated. "Let's go and dig for immortal origin stones," some cultivators shouted excitedly. They wanted to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to dig for immortal origin stones. A large number of cultivators rushed towards the interior of the Black Sand Devil prison. Then, many cultivators stopped at the outer regions and began to look for a place to dig for immortal origin stones. Lin Feng and the others also entered the Black Sand Devil prison. However, they did not directly charge into the depths of the Black Sand Devil prison. Lin Feng was not in a hurry. This was because there were many terrifying creatures in the Black Sand Devil prison. Most of the powerful creatures were entrenched in the depths. If they rashly charged into the depths of the Black Sand Devil prison, they would definitely be attacked by those powerful creatures. The land of death in the Undying Realm is very extraordinary, especially the Black Sand Devil prison. According to the Stone Emperor, this Black Sand Devil prison is located between the land of death and the forbidden zone of life. Therefore, many experts were buried in this place in the past. If we can find the legacy of those experts, it will be very important for us," Lin Feng said. Everyone nodded. They naturally agreed with Lin Feng's words. Everyone headed towards the depths. Not long after, they saw a huge battle erupting in a nearby mountain forest. Originally, some people were digging for immortal origin stones there. However, who would have thought that they would dig up the corpse of an expert? Then, those cultivators took the expert's storage ring. Those cultivators wanted to leave quickly. However, they were discovered by others. As a result, a huge battle broke out. Someone wanted to kill them and snatch their storage ring. This battle was extremely intense. The cultivators on both sides suffered heavy casualties, and this battle quickly attracted many cultivators. Therefore, a large number of cultivators fought together. There were constantly people dying. In order to snatch the storage ring of the dead expert, many cultivators went crazy. This kind of thing was too common. Lin Feng and the others did not participate in this kind of fight. They passed by the cultivators who were fighting. They continued to head towards the depths. Rumor has it that the Black Sand Devil prison stretches for 800 miles. Right now, this is only the outermost area, so there are no powerful creatures. If we go deeper, there will definitely be many terrifying creatures, Evil Sovereign Saint said. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Even though we haven't seen any strong creatures yet, we can't afford to be careless. After all, this place is too dangerous. Who knows, some terrifying creatures might come out from the depths." The group continued to head deeper. After about 15 minutes, Du Zhu said, "I can vaguely feel a special power calling out to me." "There's such a thing?" Lin Feng's face revealed an extremely shocked expression. Du Zhu nodded. He looked very excited. If they encountered an opportunity in a place like this, it would definitely be a great opportunity. Moreover, it might even benefit everyone. Evil Sovereign Saint said, then hurry up and sense it. See if you can sense where that place is. Duzu said, that feeling is very weak. It's intermittent. Lin Feng said, don't be anxious. Take it slow. Duzu nodded. He frowned and continued to sense that place. Although this feeling could not last for long, fortunately, this feeling did not stop. Not long after. Chapter 46-64. The poisonous gas in the forest was extremely terrifying. Lin Feng saw a few cultivators trying to enter the forest. Although they had consumed antidote pills, they only managed to fly a dozen meters before falling into the forest. Their bodies twitched a few times before they died. What a terrifying poison! Lin Feng frowned. The poison here is formed by the fusion of hundreds of different poisons. Du Zhu said, hundreds of different poisons? Damn, that's terrifying. Hearing that, Lin Feng could not help but reveal an extremely shocked expression. No wonder the poisonous gas here was so terrifying. There were so many different poisons mixed in. It could definitely kill people without them noticing. Lin Feng asked, Du Zhu, do you have a way to deal with the poison here? No problem. Du Zhu said confidently. A light flashed in his hand, and an item flew out. That item was none other than a porcelain vase. Du Zhu poured out some pills from the bottle and said, these antidote pills were personally refined by me. They can cure all poisons in the world. After consuming them, you will be immune to all poisons for a month. Unless it's some extremely heaven-defying poison, no poison will be able to harm you. Everyone, take one pill. After swallowing it, you won't have to worry about being harmed by the poison in the forest. Lin Feng took one pill and swallowed it. Next, Ning Xianwu, the evil sovereign sage, and the two ghost emperors also took one pill and swallowed it. Lin Feng circulated the immemorial dragonesque elephant art and refined the antidote pill. He felt a warmth in his body. Apart from that, he did not feel anything else. The others also refined the antidote pills. Du Zhu said, let's go. I'm very curious as to what is calling out to me in the depths of this mountain. Du Zhu was the first to enter the forest, followed by Lin Feng and the others. Ning Xianwu said in surprise, after eating that antidote pill, the poison here really can't do any harm to us. Moreover, I can feel that the poison that entered my body can actually be absorbed by my body. Not only did the poison not harm my body, but it also turned into extremely pure energy. This is too inconceivable, said Lin Feng, smiling. The poison ancestor's knowledge of poisons is incredible because he's a holy spirit. Therefore, the pills he concocts are extremely powerful, said Lin Feng, smiling. The poison ancestor's knowledge of poisons is incredible because he's a holy spirit. Therefore, the pills he concocts are incredible. The poison ancestor also looked quite pleased with himself. Ning Xianwu looked at Du Zhu and said, Senior Du Zhu, can you give me a few more antidote pills? I'll keep them for emergencies. After hearing the way Ning Xianwu addressed him, the poison ancestor couldn't help but roll his eyes and say, Who are you calling senior? Am I that old? I should be calling you big sis. Du Zhu's mouth was also quite despicable. His words angered Ning Xianwu so much that she glared at him. Women like to be praised for being young, for having a good figure, good skin, and so on. However, no woman liked to be called old. Du Zhu actually called Ning Xianwu big sis. Ning Xianwu really wanted to hammer Du Zhu to death. However, for the sake of the antidote pills, Ning Xianwu told herself, endure. She must endure. Ning Xianwu said, Big brother Du Zhu, can you give me a few more antidote pills? Du Zhu pursed his lips and said, These antidote pills are very precious. If you want them, I can. I know that you know quite a few heaven-defying prescriptions. 10 prescriptions for one pill. This was also in line with Du Zhu's character. Although they were familiar with each other, Du Zhu didn't even have any extra things. Du Zhu was someone who would never suffer a loss. Only Lin Feng would be able to get something out of him. The others could forget about it. The evil reverent sage had been with Du Zhu for so many years, but he still couldn't get anything out of Du Zhu. Hence, It was very normal for Du Zhu to reject Ning Xianwu. Those are prescriptions passed down from my ancestors. If I were to give them away, I would be letting down my dead ancestors, Ning Xianwu said pitifully. Keeping things for oneself was a tradition in the cultivation world. Moreover, it was a tradition that was deeply rooted in people's hearts. The various sacred arts, secret arts, prescriptions, arrays, and so on passed down by the clan could not be spread to outsiders. Otherwise, it would be letting down their ancestors. Every large faction was like this. They would punish those who dared to spread their secrets to outsiders severely and cruelly. There was a reason why they did this. They wanted to maintain the strength and prosperity of the clan. Many of the top sacred arts and so on had to be in their own hands. If outsiders were to get their hands on them and spread the news, the clan's trump card would be gone. Then, the clan wouldn't be far from being wiped out. Then there's no other way, Du Zhu said. Ning Xianwu looked pitifully at Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, Du Zhu, give Xianwu a few more antidote pills. Hearing Lin Feng pleading for Ning Xianwu nodded. I still have a few of these pills. The main thing is that the ingredients are hard to find. But since young master has asked, I will give her one. With that, Du Zhu took out another pill and gave it to Ning Xianwu. Ning Xianwu instantly became happy. She thanked Lin Feng and Du Zhu profusely. Du Zhu muttered in his heart. He felt that Lin Feng must have taken a liking to Ning Xianwu and wanted to seduce her. That was why he was speaking up for her. Thus, the poison ancestor did him a favor at no extra cost. As the few of them went deeper, they realized that there were skeletons in the forest. However, the skeletons were not cultivators' skeletons. They were the skeletons of ferocious beasts. They didn't know if it was a creature that originally lived in the Black Sand Devil prison that accidentally wandered into this place and died here. Finally, the group arrived at the depths of the forest. There was actually a pool in the depths of the forest. The water in the pool was very clear. Above the pool, there were wisps of fog. That call seems to be coming from the bottom of the pool, Du Zhu said. Then let's go down and take a look, Lin Feng said. Du Zhu nodded his head. Lin Feng said, we still don't know what's going on at the bottom of the pool. Therefore, we must be careful when we go down later. Everyone nodded their heads. Everyone brought out their magical power light shields one after another, then entered the pool and dived down. The pool also contained poison. The poison penetrated the energy light shields, but was unable to harm Lin Feng and the rest. Lin Feng and the rest gradually went deeper into the pool. The pool was extremely deep. After diving for more than 1,000 meters, they still hadn't reached the bottom. Chapter 46-65. Lin Feng had always trusted his intuition, so when he sensed that something was wrong, he had a bad feeling. Lin Feng said, everyone, be careful. I can vaguely feel that the surroundings are very dangerous. Maybe something dangerous will happen. After hearing Lin Feng's reminder, everyone's expression turned slightly cold. They naturally trusted Lin Feng 100%. Therefore, everyone took out their magic treasures. Once they encountered any danger, they would be able to take out their magic treasures in time and then attack the other party. The group continued to dive. When they dived to about 1,200 meters, a terrifying aura filled the air. After feeling that terrifying aura, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. The rest of the people obviously also felt that terrifying aura, but before they could recover from their shock, behemoths rushed out one after another from below. If one looked carefully, one could see that those behemoths were actually terrifying giant pythons. Those giant pythons had dark green bodies, and there was a huge sarcoma on their forehead. The sarcoma contained a highly toxic poison. It was Lin Feng's first time seeing this kind of giant python, so he couldn't help but be shocked when he saw this kind of giant python. Those giant pythons quickly pounced towards Lin Feng. When the giant serpents opened their bloody mouths, Zhang Xian was shocked. Lin Feng had already taken out 5 stone swords and slashed towards the giant pythons that were pouncing towards him. The rest of the people also took out powerful magic treasures and attacked those giant pythons. Although the speed of those giant pythons is extremely fast, everyone is already prepared for it. Therefore, in the face of the giant python's attacks, everyone seemed to be at ease. One after another, powerful treasures bombarded those giant pythons. In an instant, the giant pythons were killed one by one. Although those giant pythons were powerful, they were still made of flesh and blood. How could they resist such powerful magic treasures? Therefore, more than a dozen powerful giant pythons were all killed by Lin Feng and the others. Seeing that those giant pythons were killed, Lin Feng and the others let out a sigh of relief. The poison ancestor put away the python corpses. He said, "These giant pythons are the famous flesh-crowned poisonous python. It's an extremely rare giant python. I've only heard of this giant python's name before, but I've never seen this kind of poisonous python. This is the first time I've seen it." The flesh crowns on the heads of these venomous pythons contain highly toxic poison. The poison is extremely terrifying. 10 drops of it can paralyze a true immortal's body. If it's just one of the flesh crowns, it can even kill a true immortal expert. Fortunately, we brought out our magic treasures in advance and killed these flesh crowns venomous pythons in an instant. If these flesh crowns venomous pythons had released the highly toxic poison in their flesh crowns, then we're in danger. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but reveal a trace of fear. Although everyone had taken Du Zhu's antidote pill, it was still not enough. Now, everyone's body was able to restrain all kinds of poisons. But Du Zhu also said it. There were some heaven-defying poisons that the detoxification pill couldn't restrain. The poison in the bodies of the flesh crown's venomous pythons probably belonged to this kind of poison. Fortunately, Lin Feng and the others were safe and sound. Lin Feng said, "Everyone, don't let your guard down. We don't know if there are other terrifying creatures down there. If there aren't, then it's best. If there are, they might be even more terrifying than these flesh crown's venomous pythons. We have to be careful." Everyone nodded solemnly. It was indeed as Lin Feng said. If there were even more terrifying creatures down there, it would be extremely dangerous for them. Therefore, everyone had to be careful. Otherwise, they might really die miserably. Everyone continued to dive down. When they reached a depth of 2,000 meters, they finally reached the bottom of the pool. The bottom of the pool was filled with cobblestones. But there were a lot of bones scattered on the cobblestones. There were bones of ferocious beasts and bones of cultivators. They were probably the cultivators who had died here in the past few years. After Lin Feng and the others landed, they all observed the situation around them. The bottom of the pool gave off a gloomy and terrifying feeling. Fortunately, there were no other terrifying creatures at the bottom of the pool. This allowed Lin Feng and the others to breathe a sigh of relief. "Du Zhu, do you still have that kind of feeling?" Lin Feng looked at Du Zhu and asked. Du Zhu nodded, then pointed in a direction and said, "Yes, it's in this direction." Everyone walked in the direction Du Zhu pointed. The surface of the pool wasn't very big, but the world at the bottom of the pool was very big. This was a place of a different world. Finally, they arrived at the deepest part of the pool. There was actually a huge palace here. This was a palace shrouded in a dense evil aura. There was a plaque on top of the palace. The words "Evil King's Palace" were written on the plaque. However, the palace looked rather dilapidated. Clearly, the palace's owner had died many years ago. A special magnetic field formed around the palace. Because of this, the pool water couldn't enter the palace. I wonder who this evil king is. Based on his name, he should be an evil cultivator, right? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. Du Zhu nodded and said, "That should be the case." However, after coming here, that special feeling actually disappeared. How strange. Disappeared? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. What was going on? It was indeed a little strange. Du Zhu's expression was rather solemn as he said, "Indeed, I can't feel it anymore. However, I have a feeling that the thing that summoned me is definitely inside the palace." Lin Feng said, "In that case, let's enter the palace and take a look. However, everyone must be careful. This palace looks rather eerie and strange. We have to be on our guard." The others nodded. They indeed had to be extra careful in this place. Only by doing so would they be able to minimize the danger. Everyone walked forward and pushed open the doors of the palace. Instantly, a decaying aura surged out of the palace. Lin Feng and the others didn't immediately enter. Instead, They waited for the decaying aura to fade before entering the palace. The first layer of the palace was empty. They didn't find anything. Everyone continued to walk inside. In the second layer of the palace, they saw a huge cauldron and a corpse. The corpse belonged to a cultivator wearing a brown robe. The cultivator was sitting cross-legged. He had died many years ago. His death was extremely peaceful. Judging from his appearance, it seemed that he had died unknowingly while cultivating. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown and say, "Could this person be the evil king?" Lin Feng's gaze then landed on the cauldron. He had a feeling that something terrifying was sealed inside the cauldron. Chapter 46-66. Duzu nodded and said, "That's possible. This person was definitely an extremely terrifying existence in the past, but he actually fell here today. I don't know what happened back then, but it was as if he suddenly died without any abnormalities." After Duzu finished speaking, he also looked at the furnace like Lin Feng. Then, Duzu said, "This furnace gives me a very different feeling. I feel that this furnace is very extraordinary." Lin Feng nodded and said, "Maybe there's something else in this furnace." Ning Xinwu was not interested in studying the corpse. She said, "Then let's quickly open the furnace and see if there's anything good inside. Maybe there's a furnace full of spirit pills and miraculous medicines? If that's really the case, then we're going to be rich." Obviously, Ning Xinwu wanted to make a fortune. If there really was a furnace full of immortal medicines, then she would definitely get a share. Little money grubber. Lin Feng could not help but mutter, "Hee hee, I'm afraid of being poor. Of course I have to collect more good things to prepare for a rainy day." Ning Xinwu giggled and said, although she was a money grubber, she never hid her thoughts. This was what Lin Feng liked the most. Many people like to hide their thoughts. Even if they wanted to obtain something, they would not say it directly. Instead, they would think of other ways to obtain it. This kind of person's thoughts were more profound. On the other hand, Ning Xinwu's thoughts were much simpler. Who wouldn't like a simple-minded girl like Ning Xinwu? Of course, Lin Feng also liked a simple-minded girl like Ning Xinwu. Lin Feng said, "Let's check the situation of this corpse first. Then, we'll consider opening the furnace." Duzu said, "This guy was probably an expert in using poison when he was alive. Moreover, the poisonous gas around him is very strong. I feel that it has a lot to do with this evil king's palace. So, just to be safe, let me check the situation of this corpse." Naturally, no one had any objections. Duzu walked forward to check the situation of the corpse. After rummaging through the corpse, he did not find anything. However, the corpse's storage ring was still there. Duzu took it off. Then, he used his divine will to enter the storage ring. Duzu could not help but frown slightly. He handed the storage ring to Lin Feng. Lin Feng's divine will also entered the storage ring. When his divine will entered the storage ring, Lin Feng immediately discovered that the space inside of the storage ring had been destroyed. This meant that this person should have died a long time ago. That was why his storage ring was destroyed, but it was hard to say exactly when he had fallen. "Let's open the furnace," Lin Feng said. Duzu nodded and then walked in front of the furnace. After he looked at the furnace, the poison ancestor frowned and said, "The cauldron has already been opened." "It's been opened?" the heretic sovereign saint said in surprise. Lin Feng also walked to the side of the furnace. He observed it carefully. Lin Feng realized that the cauldron used to be protected by a powerful deployment spell, but now the deployment spell had been broken. That was why the lid of the furnace had been opened. Lin Feng also realized that the deployment spell on the lid of the cauldron had been destroyed during that time. There was no one else here. Then, there was only one reason left. What was originally sealed in this cauldron? The reason why the seals were destroyed had a lot to do with the sealed item. When he thought of this, Lin Feng could not help but reveal a shocked expression. He said in a deep voice, "The situation doesn't seem right. Everyone, be careful. I feel like my body has suddenly become soft," Ning Xinwu suddenly said. As soon as she finished speaking, she fell to the ground. Lin Feng quickly walked over and hugged Ning Xinwu. With such a soft and seductive body in his arms, Lin Feng did not dare to have any romantic thoughts. Because at this moment, it was not the time to have such thoughts. Lin Feng carefully inspected Ning Xianwu's body. He discovered that there seemed to be a very strange energy in her body. Because of that, her body instantly went soft. Poison. That's a type of poison. Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed. I also feel like my body has gone soft, the first Ghost Emperor said. Then, he fell to the ground. Me too, the second Ghost Emperor said. He also fell to the ground. Not good. I also have the same feeling. The heretic sovereign saint's expression changed drastically. The heretic sovereign saint was good at using corpse poison. His body was formed from a zombie's body. So, his body's resistance to all kinds of poison was very strong. However, the heretic sovereign saint was unable to resist the poison. Not good. In the next moment, Lin Feng's expression changed drastically, because Lin Feng also felt that his body had become soft. He tried to circulate the magic power in his body, but it failed. Not to mention using his magic power, even his physical strength was exhausted in an instant. That kind of poison was simply too strange. Young master. Seeing Lin Feng also sitting on the ground, Du Zhu's expression changed drastically. Du Zhu was a holy spirit born from 10,000 poisons. Therefore, Du Zhu was not affected by that kind of poison. He quickly rushed in front of Lin Feng to protect Lin Feng. Get out here, Du Zhu said coldly. He knew that there must be a terrifying existence in the dark leading all of this. As for that terrifying existence, it was very likely that it was the living being that had summoned him. This caused the poison ancestor to be extremely angry. If everyone hadn't followed him here, they wouldn't have been schemed against by others. A holy spirit born from 10,000 poisons. Not bad, not bad. You and I can be considered to be of the same race. At this moment, a voice suddenly came out of thin air. Then, a large amount of dark green poisonous gas suddenly surged out of the void, and an illusory shadow appeared in the dark green poisonous gas. That illusory shadow could not be seen clearly. Perhaps he did not have a specific appearance yet. That existence's body emitted a sinister and terrifying aura. After feeling the sinister and terrifying aura in his body, everyone's expression changed slightly. This existence was definitely an unimaginably terrifying existence, and most importantly, this existence was hiding in the void. Chapter 46-67. You were previously sealed in the cauldron, but recently, you broke the seal and walked out of the cauldron. You sensed my aura and summoned me here? Du Zhu asked with a gloomy expression. Du Zhu's speculation was similar to Lin Feng's. The sacred spirit nodded and said, That's right. It's just as you said. Your current evolution isn't perfect, but you're still a creature that evolved from the myriad poisons. Even though your current evolution isn't perfect, I can help you undergo a deeper transformation. As long as you kneel on the ground and submit to me, I'll help you. Du Zhu sneered. How could there be a free lunch in this world? Moreover, the sacred spirit clearly had ill intentions. Du Zhu soon understood what was going on. He sneered and said, Even though you've escaped from the cauldron, I'm sure the years you've been trapped there must have taken a lot of damage to your body and mind. My body isn't perfect, but as time passes, I'll definitely be able to make it more and more perfect. Besides, my body has already condensed a body of flesh and blood. For creatures like us, condensing a body of flesh and blood is a major transformation. And this kind of transformation will play a crucial role in the entire cultivation career. I guess you want to seize my body right now. You and I are both holy spirits born from a myriad of poisons. If you seize this body of mine, you will be able to perfectly fuse with this body. After hearing the poison ancestor's words, the Holy Spirit sneered and said, Do you think I care about your body? If I wanted to condense a body of flesh and blood, the body I condensed would be 10 times or even 100 times stronger than yours. I'm only advising you because we're of the same race. Don't be so ungrateful. The poison ancestor's face revealed a mocking expression. Why explain so much? Don't you know that there's a good saying? An explanation is a cover-up. You've explained so much to cover up something, and I'm sure you know what it is that you're trying to cover up. You don't know what's good for you. The Holy Spirit glowered at the poison ancestor. Du Zhu sneered. I'm guessing that your body must have encountered some unknown special condition over the years, right? In this situation, there must be a huge problem with your body. Therefore, you need my body now. You pretend to be a good person in front of me and want me to submit to you. The reason is very simple. If I choose to submit to you, I will have to make some vows. At this time, I will definitely be under your control. If you want to deal with me, I will not be able to resist. Kikik. Upon hearing Du Zhu's words, the Holy Spirit let out a sinister laugh. His laughter was so eerie and terrifying. He looked at Du Zhu with his eerie eyes and said, I didn't expect you to be such a smart person. You're right, everything you guessed is correct. However, so what if you've guessed correctly? If I want to deal with you, do you think you can escape? It might just take some time. As soon as he finished speaking, the Holy Spirit waved his sleeve. Suddenly, an endless amount of dark green poisonous gas rolled violently in the void. Then, the dark green poisonous gas flooded toward Du Zhu. Humph, I was just about to ask you for advice on your ultimate move. Du Zhu's expression was cold. Du Zhu waved his sleeve as well. Then, a large amount of grayish-brown poisonous gas rolled out. Bang! The poisonous gas from both sides collided fiercely with each other. Immediately, waves of violent energy fluctuations were emitted. Du Zhu knew that he couldn't get too close to Lin Feng and the others. Otherwise, Lin Feng and the others would be affected. Therefore, Du Zhu's body directly turned into a ball of violently rolling poisonous gas, then violently collided with the Holy Spirit. Following the violent collision, the poisonous gas formed by Du Zhu's body fiercely collided with the Holy Spirit's body. Then, the Holy Spirit was sent flying. Clang! The Holy Spirit's body collided with the palace, causing it to shake violently. You dare to provoke my supreme dignity? You really don't know what death is. The Holy Spirit said coldly. Then, endless evil light appeared in the Holy Spirit's palm, and he slapped the poisonous gas formed by Du Zhu. In an instant, the poisonous gas formed by Du Zhu was sent flying by the Holy Spirit. Then, Du Zhu reverted to his original form. The Holy Spirit was so powerful that he was able to beat Du Zhu back to his original form. Du Zhu's face was somewhat pale. It was obvious that Du Zhu was no match for the Holy Spirit in front of him. Lin Feng guessed that the fall of the Diablo back then might have had something to do with this terrifying Holy Spirit. It was very likely that he was an existence created by the Diablo, but in the end, he ended up devouring the Diablo. This kind of thing was not uncommon in the world of cultivators. Lowly thing. The meaning of your existence is nothing more than a wedding dress for my resurrection. Do you feel the taste of death? The Holy Spirit walked step by step toward Du Zhu, and the aura emanating from his body became more and more frightening. Du Zhu from before. He hadn't used his full strength. One had to admit that the Holy Spirit's combat strength was truly too heaven-defying. He hadn't used his full strength. He was still so terrifying. If he had used his full strength, what kind of frightening level would his combat strength reach? Just thinking about it was enough to make one turn pale with fright. He leaped out and launched an attack at the poison ancestor. All kinds of powerful magic were brewing. He charged towards the poison ancestor. Du Zhu fought against him, but he was forced to retreat. However, Du Zhu didn't back down. Although Du Zhu often looked like a despicable person, he didn't back down. In reality, Du Zhu was a person who valued friendship and loyalty. The Holy Spirit's attacks became even more powerful. Du Zhu was completely suppressed. He couldn't resist. The Holy Spirit slapped at Du Zhu. A huge palm condensed in the void and blasted at Du Zhu, intending to suppress Du Zhu. I'll fight you to the death. Du Zhu gritted his teeth and charged at the Holy Spirit again. Du Zhu's body burned fiercely. He began to burn his essence blood to increase his combat strength. Under normal circumstances, this was a last resort. Du Zhu blocked the Holy Spirit's attacks, but it was very strenuous for him. The Holy Spirit's expression was indifferent as he punched out 9 times in a row. Du Zhu finally couldn't hold on any longer and was sent flying. The Holy Spirit wanted to rush forward and suppress Du Zhu, but he suddenly sensed a terrifying aura behind him. Chapter 46-68. The person who appeared behind the terrifying Holy Spirit was none other than Lin Feng. Just now, Lin Feng had already asked the White Jade Toad to help him detoxify the poison, so Lin Feng had already recovered. While the terrifying Holy Spirit and Du Zhu were fighting, Lin Feng silently appeared behind the terrifying being. Lin Feng threw a punch at the terrifying being. His fist was surrounded by the power of reincarnation. The terrifying being's reaction was extremely fast. In such an urgent situation, he actually managed to turn around and threw a punch at Lin Feng. Bang! The two fists collided. Although the Holy Spirit was powerful, he was forced to take several steps back after taking Lin Feng's terrifying punch. However, he was too powerful. Although he was forced to take several steps back by Lin Feng, he didn't suffer any injuries. You actually recovered? How did you do it? The terrifying Holy Spirit's face was filled with disbelief when he saw Lin Feng recover. He was extremely confident in the poison he released. He could understand why Du Zhu was immune to his poison. After all, Du Zhu was a Holy Spirit like him. However, he couldn't accept or believe that Lin Feng could detoxify his poison. Lin Feng said indifferently, "What's so strange about that? Detoxifying your poison is just a piece of cake for me." Hearing Lin Feng's arrogant words, the Holy Spirit's face darkened. The Holy Spirit looked glum. Lin Feng didn't care about him at all. That's why he had said that to him. "Kid, I'll let you know later that you're just an ant in front of me." The Holy Spirit looked coldly at Lin Feng, his eyes flashing with killing intent. Just as he was about to pounce at Lin Feng, he suddenly realized that his body was changing. He realized that his strength was rapidly depleting. Moreover, his body was rapidly aging. It didn't take long for the Holy Spirit's strength to fall to the bottom, and his body became extremely old. What's going on? The Holy Spirit's face was filled with disbelief. He didn't expect his body to become like this. As he aged in an instant, his combat strength fell so much. Soon, he came back to his senses and looked coldly at Lin Feng. He said, "It's you. You're the one who schemed against me. What kind of fist technique did you use just now?" Lin Feng said sarcastically, "You're really ignorant. You don't even know about the path of reincarnation? That punch from your little grandpa called 100 million years hurriedly can make you age. Your combat strength has dropped too much. I'll kill you." As soon as he finished speaking, 5 stone swords appeared and slashed at the Holy Spirit. "Go to hell," Du Zhu said coldly. He took out a poisonous dagger and slashed at the Holy Spirit. 100,000 worlds. Faced with Lin Feng and Du Zhu's joint attack, the Holy Spirit immediately roared. Then, one world after another appeared around his body. 100,000 worlds appeared one after another, protecting the Holy Spirit's body. The 100,000 worlds then blocked Lin Feng and Du Zhu's supreme treasures. "You all deserve to die. I'll poison you to death right now." The Holy Spirit roared angrily. He had suffered a loss at Lin Feng's hands, and now he was extremely angry. Obviously, he was angry out of humiliation. Therefore, a large amount of poisonous gas escaped from the Holy Spirit's body. This guy was even more terrifying than Du Zhu. The poisonous gas he released was naturally terrifying. Perhaps Du Zhu was the only one who could resist this kind of poison. The others couldn't. If they breathed in too much of this poison, they would probably die. However, Lin Feng had a way. He summoned the White Jade Toad. Croak, croak, croak. The White Jade Toad stood on Lin Feng's shoulder and cried out. The toad's body emitted waves of violent energy. Then, the White Jade Toad opened its mouth and inhaled. A large amount of poison began to flow into the White Jade Toad's body. The current White Jade Toad was no longer the White Jade Toad of the past. This was because the White Jade Toad had undergone 5 transformations. Every time the White Jade Toad transformed, its abilities would be greatly improved. Even though the poison of this saint spirit was frightening, the toad wasn't afraid of it since it had undergone 5 transformations. Therefore, a large amount of poison was devoured by the White Jade Toad. Not only was the White Jade Toad devoured the poison released by the Holy Spirit, but even the poison absorbed by Ning Xianwu, heretical sovereign saint, and the 2 ghost emperors was also sucked out by the White Jade Toad. Those poisons became the White Jade Toad's nourishment. Now that the white jade toad was about to undergo its sixth transformation, it needed a lot of poison. Poison was the best nourishment for it. Ning Xianwu, evil revered saint, and the two ghost emperors recovered. They stood up one after another, took out their magic treasures, and attacked this terrifying holy spirit. White jade toad. It's actually a white jade toad. You actually raised a white jade toad. The Holy Spirit was extremely furious after seeing the white jade toad. The white jade toad was indeed a heaven-defying creature. Moreover, it was the bane of their race. In fact, whether it was Du Zhu or this terrifying Holy Spirit, they were both holy spirits that were born from myriad poisons. Therefore, their greatest strength lay in their use of various poisons. For example, many of their divine abilities were combined with the use of poisons. This way, they were able to unleash the full power of their sacred arts. But now, the situation had changed. Firstly, the Holy Spirit had been hit by Lin Feng's ancient time rush. Its body had aged and its battle strength had dropped to the bottom. Secondly, the Holy Spirit's poison was completely suppressed by the white jade toad. The poison couldn't do anything to Lin Feng and the others. To the Holy Spirit, it was a huge blow, and its battle strength dropped by another level. On Lin Feng's side, Ning Xianwu, heretical sovereign saint, and the two ghost emperors had joined the battle, greatly increasing their battle strength. The gap between the two sides widened in an instant. Chapter 46-69. Lin Feng sneered. What's the matter? Are you going to admit defeat now? The sacred spirit's expression was extremely gloomy. Lin Feng's attitude infuriated him, and he wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Feng with a single punch. However, facing the aggressive Lin Feng, the sacred spirit knew that he had to be careful. After all, he was indeed in a dire situation. The most important thing right now was to get out of this predicament. I apologize for what happened earlier. As the saying goes, it's better to squash enmity than keep it alive. Why don't we both take a step back? The sacred spirit said. Lin Feng sneered. You want to apologize? It's too late. We won't accept your apology. Attack with all your might and kill him as quickly as possible. Don't give him any chance to fight back. Lin Feng said in a low voice. The reason he wanted to get rid of the sacred spirit as quickly as possible was that the effects of the ancient time rush were still present. If he gave it a little more time, the sacred spirit's body would definitely recover. If he recovered, it would be extremely difficult to kill him. Lin Feng knew this very well. Therefore, Lin Feng wanted to kill him while he was still in a relatively weak state. Beat a drowning dog. That was the logic. After hearing Lin Feng's words, everyone quickly nodded. All kinds of powerful magic treasures and divine abilities blasted toward the terrifying Holy Spirit. Lin Feng even used the Tao of Fate to suppress the sacred spirit, and the effect was surprisingly good. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. Do you know how powerful I am? To think that I would be defeated by ants like you. Do you know that even the evil king, who had transcended immortality and entered the saint plane, was killed by me? If it wasn't for the evil king's counterattack and severely injuring me before his death and sealing me in the cauldron for countless years, how could my cultivation have fallen? If I was at my peak, I wouldn't even need to do anything. All I need to do is blow a breath, and you ants will all die without a burial place. The sacred spirit roared in anger and indignation. He didn't want to die. He wanted to live on. However, he knew it too. It was almost impossible for him to continue living. Lin Feng sneered. Even now, are you still living in a dream? It's no longer your era, so it's time for you to wake up from your dream. You should feel lucky that we didn't provoke you, but you actually dared to provoke us. You must be tired of living. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng intensified his attacks. The others were like Lin Feng, strengthening their attacks. In the end, unable to withstand the attacks of Lin Feng and the others, the Holy Spirit was eventually killed by Lin Feng and the others. His poison origin was left behind. Lin Feng and the others had no use for these poison sources. However, it was extremely useful for Du Zhu and the white jade toad. Let the white jade toad devour the poison source first and let it evolve first. It was rare for Du Zhu to be so generous. Croak, croak, croak. The white jade toad was already psychic. After hearing Du Zhu's words, it couldn't help but cry out, as if responding to Du Zhu. Go, Lin Feng said. Immediately, the white jade toad began to devour the poison origin left behind by the Holy Spirit. A large amount of the poison origin was devoured by the white jade toad. Once the white jade toad had devoured enough poison origin for its evolution, it stopped devouring. In fact, at this time, the white jade toad had only devoured about 40% of the poison origin. It also left about 60% of the poison origin for Du Zhu. After devouring the poison origin, the white jade toad returned to time and space to cultivate in seclusion. It would take a certain amount of time for it to evolve, and Du Zhu devoured the rest of the poison origin. After devouring the rest of the poison origin, Du Zhu's body emitted waves of violent fluctuations. Between his eyebrows, the light of tribulation flickered. I'm going to break through. Ha 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 ha. Du Zhu, am going to break through to the Sky Immortal Realm. The poison ancestor immediately laughed out loud. Sky Immortal Realm. For countless cultivators, this was a goal that they would fight for their entire lives. Now that Du Zhu was about to break through to the Sky Immortal Realm, he was naturally very happy. Once he broke through to the Sky Immortal Realm, the next step was to make preparations for breaking through to the true immortal realm. Although Sky Immortals were extremely powerful, they were still mortals after all. But true immortals were different. True immortals were immortals. Therefore, the difficulty of breaking through to the true immortal realm was unimaginable. Therefore, countless cultivators would first break through to the quasi-true immortal realm before breaking through to the true immortal realm. In fact, if a cultivator's confidence was strong enough, they could completely skip the quasi-true immortal realm and break through to the true immortal realm. But obviously, this would be more difficult, and it wouldn't be easy to achieve this goal. There's no time to lose. Quickly go outside and break through, Lin Feng said. Du Zhu nodded. Then, the group quickly flew out. After they flew out, the 9 heavens was already filled with lightning. Lin Feng and the others flew into the distance and landed on the peak of a mountain. Du Zhu, on the other hand, flew up into the 9 heavens. Soon, the first lightning tribulation struck Du Zhu's body. However, Du Zhu's physical body was extremely strong. Therefore, when the first lightning tribulation struck Du Zhu's body, it didn't cause any damage to Du Zhu. But Lin Feng knew that this was just the beginning. The lightning tribulation would become more and more terrifying as it went on. Therefore, Lin Feng was naturally very worried about Du Zhu's lightning tribulation. No one dared to say that they would definitely succeed in transcending the lightning tribulation. For example, Lin Feng. When he transcended the lightning tribulation, it was also a narrow escape. It was naturally the same for Du Zhu's lightning tribulation. In the next month, all kinds of terrifying lightning tribulations fell from the sky. The power of those lightning tribulations was really shocking. Fortunately, Du Zhu resisted those lightning tribulations with great difficulty. When the last lightning tribulation dissipated, Du Zhu lay on the ground, gasping for breath. He was now in an extremely sorry state. Who knew how many bones in his body were broken? His skin was torn and his flesh was lacerated. It was extremely tragic. I'm still alive. This feeling is really great, Du Zhu said with a grin. Lin Feng smiled and said, as the saying goes, good people don't live long, but disasters live for 1,000 years. Of course, you won't die. Du Zhu couldn't help but roll his eyes and say, are you praising me, or are you insulting me? Lin Feng said with a smile, of course I'm praising you. Your vitality is as tenacious as a cockroach. Damn. Can't you find a better word? Du Zhu said speechlessly. For the next day, Du Zhu went into seclusion to recover. When he came out, Du Zhu was already in high spirits. Du Zhu's cultivation had greatly improved, which made him extremely happy. Chapter 4670. The group did not stop and continued their journey. More and more cultivators entered the Black Sand Dungeon. As Lin Feng and the others continued their journey into the depths of the Black Sand Dungeon, they heard about many things that had happened during this period. The creatures in the depths of the Black Sand Dungeon were preventing outside cultivators from entering. As a result, A great battle broke out between them and the cultivators who had entered. The battle was extremely tragic. A large number of cultivators were killed, but many of the creatures in the Black Sand Dungeon were also killed. The outside cultivators had no choice but to retreat. It was said that they were still waiting for an opportunity to organize the cultivators and try to enter the depths again. The previous battle was too tragic. I knew a celestial immortal expert who was severely injured in that battle. Now that he has left, he must go back to recuperate. Otherwise, if his injuries worsened, it would have an extremely adverse effect on his future cultivation. Zhou Bao said. Zhou Bao's eyes were filled with shock as he looked at Zhou Bao's face. His injuries are considered light. I also know a Sky Immortal expert who died in that battle. Even Sky Immortals have died, let alone other experts. I don't know why those creatures are stopping everyone from entering the depths. That's the place where the ruler of the Deathly Impasse sleeps. Naturally, they won't allow other creatures to enter rashly and disturb his slumber. This is indeed an extremely important factor. Apart from that, there's another reason. What reason? I'm guessing that the terrifying creatures in the Deathly Impasse are also eyeing the opportunities in that prison. That's why they're doing their best to prevent outside cultivators from entering. They want to monopolize the opportunities within. If that's the case, it's possible. A large number of cultivators were still discussing this matter. Currently, the cultivators from outside forces were in a state of recuperation. In addition, they were waiting for experts from other major forces to arrive. Soon, news spread that several true immortal-level experts would personally take action, leading everyone into the depths of the land of death. Then, they would enter the prisons to search for opportunities. Moreover, those major forces were now recruiting experts, hoping to join forces with many rogue cultivators to kill the enemies. Previously, they didn't allow rogue cultivators to interfere in this matter because those experts from the top forces didn't want to give the opportunities in the prison to rogue cultivators. Now that they've been obstructed by those terrifying creatures in the Deathly Impasse, they've begun to recruit rogue cultivators and express their goodwill. They're simply using rogue cultivators as tools. I think they're using rogue cultivators as cannon fodder. These people are too self-righteous. We won't follow their wishes. They can recruit rogue cultivators however they want. We're not joining them. Many rogue cultivators were discussing this matter as well. However, not all rogue cultivators refused to join them. There were still many rogue cultivators who joined them. Those rogue cultivators chose to join these major forces of the Deathly Impasse because they wanted a piece of the Deathly Impasse. If they didn't join them now, would those rogue cultivators who didn't join them be able to enter the prison after they defeated the creatures in the land of death? Perhaps they could. However, when the time came, these major forces might mercilessly issue orders to kill any rogue cultivators who dared to enter without contributing. This kind of thing was not uncommon in the world of cultivators. When great opportunities appeared, those major forces wouldn't allow rogue cultivators to enter. If rogue cultivators dared to trespass, only death would await them. However, when they needed cannon fodder, they would recruit rogue cultivators as cannon fodder. It had to be said that rogue cultivators were often extremely miserable. Because they didn't have a particularly powerful force behind them, they were always ostracized and bullied in the world of cultivators. Only rogue cultivators with extremely heaven-defying battle prowess would be valued by the cultivators of the major powers. Lin Feng and the others were still some time away from reaching the depths of the Black Sand Devil Dungeon, but they had heard a lot of news over the past few days. However, they didn't take it to heart. As long as they could find opportunities, they would be fine. Therefore, they wouldn't be obsessed with entering the prison. On this day, Lin Feng and the others saw two groups of cultivators fighting. One group of cultivators had suffered heavy casualties. Originally, they had more than 10 cultivators, but now, only 3 of them were still alive. The other group was slightly stronger and had more people. There were about 30 of them. The leader of this group of cultivators was none other than young Master Xianzong. Du Zhu, evil sovereign saint, the old enemy of the 2 ghost emperors. I didn't expect to meet this bastard here. That true immortal realm expert doesn't seem to be here. Du Zhu observed for a while and didn't find the true immortal realm expert. His eyes flashed with a fierce light. Since the true immortal realm expert wasn't here, Everyone could deal with young Master Xian Song without worry. He's not here. Lin Feng nodded. Do we attack? Du Zhu looked at Lin Feng and asked. Of course, why shouldn't we attack? We have to take revenge. That's what cultivators should do. If we don't take revenge, we'll get sick sooner or later. Lin Feng said. Ha ha ha, young master is right. Du Zhu laughed and quickly flew towards young Master Xian Song's group. Evil Sovereign Saint and the two Ghost Emperors also flew over. Lin Feng and Ning Xinwu were at the back. When they were about 1,000 meters away, Du Zhu took out his poison dagger and slashed towards young Master Xian Song. Young Master Xian Song's talent was heaven-defying. He was someone who could challenge those who were a few realms above him. The difference between him and the 8 young masters wasn't in talent, but in cultivation. Now that he had reached the heavenly immortal realm, his battle prowess was naturally terrifying. It wouldn't be easy for Du Zhu to ambush him. Young Master Xian Song had already noticed Lin Feng's group. When Du Zhu attacked with his dagger, he waved his battle spear and knocked Du Zhu's dagger away. The dagger then flew back to Du Zhu's hand. Young Master Xian Song stood in the void with his battle spear in hand. He looked like a war god as he glanced at Du Zhu's group. And here I was wondering who it was. So it's you bunch of stray dogs. Since you managed to escape back then, you should tuck your tails between your legs and behave yourselves. Yet, here you are before this young master. Do you want me to take your lives? Chapter 4671. Hearing young Master Xian Song's mocking words, Du Zhu and the others were naturally infuriated. When they were bullied by young Master Xian Song, their lives were not even in their hands. If it weren't for their good luck, they would have died long ago. Naturally, they couldn't forget this hatred. Even now, they were still gnashing their teeth in hatred. Of course, the current Du Zhu and the others were very different from when they first came to the Undying Realm. Their cultivation had greatly improved. How could their combat strength be compared to back then? Especially Du Zhu, who had broken through to the Sky Immortal Realm. Although young Master Xian Song was powerful, he was only in the Sky Immortal Realm. Young Master Xian Song could indeed challenge those of a higher realm, but so could Du Zhu. Therefore, facing young Master Xian Song, Du Zhu was naturally full of confidence. Young Master Xian Song, don't be so smug. Today, your grandfather is here to send you off. Du Zhu sneered. Ant-like things, you're really courting death. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and kill them. Young Master Xian Song said in a deep voice. A few of the people who were besieging the other 3 cultivators immediately flew out and pounced on Du Zhu and the others. The cultivator who pounced on Du Zhu was the strongest. He was an Earth Immortal Realm expert. The ones who pounced on the evil revered saint and the 2 Ghost Emperors were also human Immortal Realm experts. When Du Zhu and the others first came to the Undying Realm, they were only in the Emperor Realm. In less than 100 years, young Master Xian Song believed that even if Poison Ancestor and the others used the changes brought about by the great change of heaven and earth to greatly increase their cultivation, it was already very good for them to be able to step into the loose immortal stage. They were completely incomparable to his subordinates. Therefore, Du Zhu and the others were still pitifully weak. This guy thinks too highly of himself. Lin Feng, who was standing not far away, couldn't help but shake his head slightly. Perhaps these top-notch young masters from big factions were all so self-righteous. This had an extremely important relationship with their background, strength, experience, and so on. He will suffer. Ning Xinwu wrinkled her nose and said. She knew how powerful Du Zhu was. Therefore, he was extremely confident in Du Zhu's strength. Reckless dog, how dare you offend our young master? I think you're tired of living. The earthly immortal expert who was charging towards Du Zhu had a sinister grin on his face. He didn't know Du Zhu, but that didn't stop him from killing Du Zhu. He was even thinking of torturing the Poison Ancestor first instead of killing him directly. He would torture the Poison Ancestor until he wished he was dead before killing him. This way, young Master Xian Song would definitely be very happy. If he was happy, he might even reward him with some supreme grade treasures. However, just as these thoughts appeared in his mind, the earthly immortal realm expert who was charging towards Du Zhu felt waves of intense pain coming from his body. In an instant, This intense pain was more than 10 times more painful than before. Ah! He could not help but let out a blood-curdling scream, directly falling head first onto the ground. Then, his body convulsed violently. What happened? He was extremely puzzled. Even now, he still couldn't figure out what had happened. Why would his body feel such intense pain for no reason? His body convulsed a few times before he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Within a few breaths, he was dead. Dead. Just like that, this Earth Immortal expert died without knowing what happened. The other 3 worldly Immortal Realm experts were in the same situation as him. They fell to the ground and died. The only difference between this earthly immortal and the 3 worldly immortals was that he could still think about what had happened. However, the 3 worldly immortals didn't even have time to think before they were deader than dead. Du Zhu was now a heavenly immortal realm cultivator. His Tao of poison was even more powerful than before. Because of that, the current poison ancestor was akin to a supernatural being. His abilities were unimaginably powerful. These earthly immortal and worldly immortal realm cultivators were like ants in front of Du Zhu. If Du Zhu wanted to kill them, it would be too easy. It would be as easy as blowing off dust. After seeing the situation, young Master Xian Song's face turned ugly. What did you do to them? Young Master Xian Song looked coldly at Du Zhu. Can't you see it? Du Zhu curled his lips and said, You're courting death. Young Master Xian Song raised his spear and charged towards Du Zhu. A golden protective light barrier surged out of his body. This golden protective light barrier was called the Vajra Divine Barrier. The Vajra Divine Barrier was extremely terrifying. Not only did it have an extremely strong defense, but it also had an extremely strong defense. It could also block all kinds of negative energy. The negative energy mentioned here was a very general term. This negative energy actually referred to all kinds of dark energy and so on. As for poison, it was also a type of dark energy. Du Zhu had already silently released his poison to attack young Master Xiansong. However, when the poison came into contact with the light barrier outside young Master Xiansong's body, immediately, sizzling sounds of burning could be heard. It seemed like the poison was purified by the Vajra Divine Barrier. Young Master Xiansong's Vajra Divine Barrier was really powerful. It surprised Lin Feng. It seemed like this young Master Xiansong was different from the other rich second generations. He should be an extremely powerful genius. So it's poison. You can only use such despicable methods. Young Master Xiansong laughed coldly. His momentum did not decrease as he stabbed his spear towards Du Zhu. The poison ancestor remained indifferent in the face of young Master Xiansong's terrifying attack. With a flash of light, a bronze sword appeared in his hand. The poison ancestor charged towards young Master Xiansong without any fear. At the same time, he shouted, Big Zombie, go help the 3 besieged cultivators. Although the poison ancestor had a despicable personality, he was actually quite chivalrous and righteous. Moreover, Du Zhu felt that the enemy of his enemy was his friend. Therefore, he wanted to save the 3 cultivators. He did not want to see them lose their lives. Be careful, the evil Dominator Saint said. Then, he charged towards the 3 cultivators. The 2 Ghost Emperors followed closely behind him. Clang! At this moment, Du Zhu's battle sword clashed with young Master Xiansong's spear. Instantly, sparks flew everywhere. The terrifying shockwaves produced by the battle instantly destroyed the surrounding forest. Chapter 4672. Lin Feng was only watching the battle between Du Zhu and young Master Xiansong. He didn't participate in the battle, but there was a reason for this. Lin Feng felt that Du Zhu could handle this matter by himself, so there was no need for him to participate. Moreover, young Master Xiansong had humiliated Du Zhu and the others before. Du Zhu clearly wanted to take revenge himself and didn't want Lin Feng to participate in the battle. Only by personally taking revenge would one feel the thrill of revenge. If Lin Feng were to participate in the battle, he might not feel the thrill of the battle. Du Zhu and young Master Xiansong fought. The battle strength that Du Zhu displayed made young Master Xiansong feel incredulous. How did you become so powerful? Young Master Xiansong looked at Du Zhu with a gloomy expression. He simply couldn't believe his eyes. Because in less than 100 years, Duzu actually broke through from the Emperor realm to the heavenly immortal realm. Such a huge leap was simply unimaginable. This cultivation speed was too fast. Young Master Xin Song didn't dare to believe it. Hee, what an ignorant fellow. This ancestor has lived 2 lives. Moreover, this ancestor had already broken through to the Emperor realm when he was in the mortal world. After entering the undying realm, this sacred cultivation ground, I had one fortuitous encounter after another. What's so strange about this ancestor's cultivation rapidly breaking through to the heavenly immortal realm in 100 years? If this ancestor had been cultivating in the undying realm, you wouldn't even be a fart in front of this ancestor. Duzu said with incomparable arrogance, as if he was looking down on young Master Xian Song. In truth, the poison ancestor's words were extremely reasonable. Duzu was a saint spirit that was born from a myriad of poisons. No matter where a saint spirit was born, as long as it was a saint spirit body, it was an extremely heaven-defying being. Duzu was such a being. Moreover, in a sacred cultivation ground like the undying realm, he was naturally like a fish in water. Shameless boasting. Young Master Xian Song's eyes were extremely cold. His attacks were getting fiercer and fiercer. He wanted to take down Duzu as soon as possible. As for Lin Feng and Ning Xianwu, who were standing not far away, young Master Xian Song didn't even put them in his eyes. Young Master Xian Song did not know Lin Feng, and Lin Feng was only a young human cultivator. Many cultivators from different races looked down on the human race. Young Master Xian Song was the same. He was high and mighty, looking down on the human cultivators. Naturally, he wouldn't put Lin Feng in his eyes. Ning Xianwu's aura wasn't particularly strong either. Young Master Xian Song naturally wouldn't put Ning Xianwu in his eyes. In his eyes, there was only the poison ancestor. Young Master Xian Song and Duzu engaged in an intense battle. Duzu wanted to kill young Master Xian Song, and young Master Xian Song also wanted to kill Duzu. The two had a deep grudge, but they were unable to kill each other in a short period of time. On the other side, evil revered saint and the 2 ghost emperors also joined the battle. There were more than 30 cultivators surrounding the 3 of them. Among them, there were 3 earthly immortal experts, 6 human immortal experts, and the remaining 20 or so rogue immortal experts. These cultivators were all elites of the Floating Cloud Palace. They were extremely powerful. They sent out an earthly immortal expert, 2 human immortal experts, and 8 rogue immortal experts to surround the evil revered saint and the 2 ghost emperors. Instantly, they entered a huge battle. The other side had more people, so the evil revered saint and the 2 ghost emperors encountered some trouble. There was a certain gap between their strength and the poison ancestors, so it was not an easy task for them to resist the siege of so many experts from the other side. Lin Feng summoned Bibi, Little Black, Emperor Archaic, Primordial Ancestral Insect, and Little Dragon. He wanted them to participate in this battle. Now, although Bibi and the rest were young, their battle strength was terrifying. However, they still lacked some actual combat experience. Now, it was a good opportunity for them to fight. The Devil King bug wasn't suitable for the battle yet, so Lin Feng didn't summon it. As for the 2 insect swarms, Lin Feng didn't summon them either. He mainly wanted to train Bibi and the rest. If he summoned the 2 insect swarms, the other cultivators would be killed by the insect swarms very quickly. In this way, he wouldn't be able to train Bibi and the rest. Bibi, Little Black, Emperor Archaic, Primordial Ancestral Insect, and Little Dragon were all very excited after being summoned by Lin Feng. They also joined the battle and displayed extremely heaven-defying battle strength. For example, Bibi was surrounded by 7-colored energy. The 7-colored power was extremely terrifying. When the opponent's attack came, it was instantly devoured by the 7-colored power. When Bei's 7-colored immortal light swept across the opponent's body, the loose immortal level cultivator coughed out blood. The human immortal level cultivator's face turned extremely pale. From this, one could see how powerful Bei's combat strength was. Little Black naturally didn't need to be said. He could use the power of death and darkness. Many people's lifespan was taken by Little Black. The cultivators couldn't help but scream in horror. Lifespan was too important to cultivators. When their lifespan was taken by Little Black, they felt a deep sense of fear. Emperor Archaic gently flapped his wings that seemed to be able to split the void. One cultivator after another was sent flying. Some cultivators directly exploded. Meanwhile, the primordial ancestral insect suddenly swayed its body and an invisible force blasted out, sending one powerful cultivator after another flying. Little Dragon spat out energy balls one after another. Lin Feng was astonished when he saw that Little Dragon could spit out 9 different kinds of energy balls. These 9 energy balls were condensed from the power of wind, rain, thunder, lightning, water, fire, hail, space, and time. Lin Feng was very shocked because Little Dragon knew 9 different powers. This was really heaven-defying. In fact, even now, Lin Feng still didn't know which clan Little Dragon belonged to. After Bibi and the rest joined the battle, Heretic Sovereign Holy and the 2 Ghost Emperors' morale rose greatly. They quickly joined forces to kill the 10 experts, including the Earth Immortal expert. Damn it! Damn it! The other 2 Earth Immortals saw the situation and couldn't help but roar in anger. The eyes of the 3 cultivators who were surrounded suddenly lit up. They originally thought that they were going to die today. Who would have thought that things would turn around? They weren't killed. Instead, this group of cultivators who suddenly appeared caused heavy damage to young Master Xian Song's group. Chapter 46-73. Bibi, Dragon Rabbit, Evil Dominator Saint, and the others might not have as many people as the other party, but their battle strength was extremely terrifying. In addition, the 3 cultivators who were besieged earlier were all Earth Immortal experts. Therefore, they quickly gained a huge advantage. The cultivators who were fighting against them were killed one after another. More and more cultivators fell from the sky. On the other side, young Master Xian Song, who was fighting with Du Zhu, saw this scene and his eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Those people were all elite cultivators of Yunfu Palace. Yunfu Palace had a strong foundation. However, the death of so many elite cultivators had a huge impact on the Floating Cloud Palace. Moreover, these cultivators were killed when they were with him. After returning to Yunfu Palace, perhaps some people would make things difficult for him. Young Master Xian Song had an extraordinary status and was the son of Yunfu Palace's palace master. However, Yunfu Palace was not a place where his father could do whatever he wanted. A large power like Yunfu Palace had never been peaceful. Some people would use all kinds of methods to fight for power. One had to admit that young Master Xian Song was thinking too much. He wanted to quickly get rid of Du Zhu and rescue the others. Young Master Xian Song knew that they would definitely lose this battle. If it was just Du Zhu, Evil Dominator Saint, and the 2 Ghost Emperors, young Master Xian Song was confident that they would win. However, after Bibi and the others joined the battle, the scales of victory and defeat had already tilted. Young Master Xian Song's only hope was to minimize the casualties on his side. However, young Master Xian Song's hope was quickly dashed because he was completely entangled by Du Zhu. He could not get rid of Du Zhu at all. On the other hand, the cultivators from the Floating Cloud Palace were being slaughtered one after another. Even the 2 earthly immortal experts were severely injured. We are from Yunfu Palace. You dare to kill people from Yunfu Palace. Do you really want to die? If you leave now, we won't report this to the higher-ups. The 2 earthly immortal realm experts shouted. They did not want to die. Therefore, they brought up the Floating Cloud Palace, hoping to intimidate the evil Sovereign Saint, Bibi, and the others. However, it was clear that the evil Dominator Holy Sage, Bibi, and the others did not care about who was behind them. So what if it was Floating Cloud Palace? Even if they were from the Heavenly Court, they would still kill them today. The 2 Earthen Immortals were simply incapable of stopping the formidable attacks from so many cultivators. Thus, the 2 Earthen Immortals were killed as well. After these loose Immortals, Human Immortals, and Earthen Immortals died, their bodies were destroyed, leaving behind only their most powerful essence. Those origins were also divided up by a group of people. The cultivator's origin was very useful for increasing one's cultivation. Moreover, not everyone was like Lin Feng, who had such a strong resistance to the cultivator's source energy. Many people didn't have a strong resistance to the cultivator's source energy. As such, refining a cultivator's source would play a crucial role in improving their cultivation. Now, only young Master Xinsong had not been killed. The rest of the people also flew over and surrounded young Master Xinsong. The three cultivators wanted to kill young Master Xinsong. Their companions were surrounded and killed by the people from Floating Cloud Palace. They died in such a miserable manner. Naturally, they hated young Master Xinsong to the bone. Seeing that the three cultivators wanted to attack, Du Zhu immediately said, "Leave this guy to me. The three of you have fought for a long time. You should rest." Just now, Du Zhu asked the evil Dominator Holy Sage and the others to help the three of them. The three of them naturally saw this. Thus, they were very grateful to Du Zhu. Thus, when they heard Du Zhu shout, the three of them stood still and did not attack. Young Master Xinsong knew that the situation was not good and did not want to continue fighting. He wanted to break away from Du Zhu and quickly leave. However, Du Zhu did not give him the chance. Du Zhu's attacks became more and more powerful. Although young Master Xinsong was powerful, he only wanted to quickly leave this place and not continue fighting with Du Zhu. Thus, when this thought came to his mind, his attention was greatly diverted. As such, his battle strength could not help but decrease greatly. Du Zhu became more and more courageous as the battle went on. Under Du Zhu's relentless attacks, the golden light shield around young Master Xinsong was destroyed. Poison Ancestor's sword slashed at young Master Xinsong's body, leaving a wound so deep that the bones could be seen. "You hurt me." Young Master Xinsong looked at the wound on his body and roared in anger. "What a disgrace, what a disgrace." Although there was still a gap between young Master Xinsong and the 8 young masters, young Master Xinsong believed that his cultivation was extremely terrifying. Previously, Du Zhu was like an ant in young Master Xinsong's eyes. Even when he saw Du Zhu not long ago, young Master Xinsong was still full of contempt and disdain for Du Zhu. However, now that he was seriously injured by Du Zhu, it deeply hurt young Master Xinsong's self-esteem. Sky-piercing spear art. Young Master Xinsong roared and stabbed his spear towards Du Zhu. The terrifying spear contained a heaven-defying power. After the spear stabbed out, billions of spear shadows formed, and the surrounding world seemed to have become a world of spears. The densely packed spear shadows instantly engulfed Du Zhu. "I'll let you have a taste of my techniques." Facing young Master Xinsong's fierce and terrifying attack, Du Zhu sneered. Du Zhu sat cross-legged in the void with his palms together. Behind him, a boundless world appeared. The boundless world was pitch black and emitted a cold and terrifying aura. It was as if the night had devoured the day when it descended. That world could devour the entire starry sky. Devour the starry sky. Du Zhu's cold voice suddenly resounded between heaven and earth. After Du Zhu's voice fell, billions of spear shadows were devoured by the dark world behind Du Zhu. Everything under the starry sky would be devoured. This was the origin of Du Zhu's superpower. It seemed that Du Zhu had also obtained an extremely powerful inheritance. However, it was unknown who had created this inheritance. However, this inheritance was truly heaven-defying, and it shocked even Lin Feng. After Du Zhu destroyed young Master Xinsong's attack, the dark world enveloped young Master Xinsong. It wanted to devour young Master Xinsong as well. Young Master Xinsong's face was filled with shock, and he quickly ran away. However, it was too late. Darkness descended. Young Master Xinsong could not escape. He could only watch as he was devoured by the dark world. The dark world created by Du Zhu was about to devour young Master Xinsong. However, at this moment, a lady appeared. She was like a fairy that descended from the 9 heavens. She extended her jade-like hand and gently slashed. Poochie. Chapter 4674. The woman who suddenly appeared had a terrifying cultivation. Moreover, she looked very young. Who exactly was she? Lin Feng had no idea. He had never seen her before. The only thing he knew was that her cultivation was very strong. She was definitely not someone to be underestimated. Moreover, she had appeared to save young Master Xinsong. Even if she wasn't from Yunfu Palace, She probably had a deep relationship with young Master Xianzong. Who are you? Duzu couldn't help but frown. This woman was able to tear apart his world of darkness. From this, one could tell how powerful this woman's cultivation was. Morong Yuxuan. The woman said, "You are Morong Yuxuan?" The poison ancestor was startled. Morong Yuxuan was a famous figure. She was one of the 10 great fairies of the Undying Realm, and not only did she have a peerlessly beautiful face, but she also had an extremely beautiful face. Moreover, her talent and cultivation were both heaven-defying. Of course, the divine King Valley behind Morong Yuxuan was also a terrifying power. No one dared to provoke this power. Lin Feng and the others now knew why Morong Yuxuan had saved young Master Xianzong. Young Master Xianzong's elder brother, young Master Qing Tsong, was Morong Yuxuan's fiancé. One of them was one of the 8 great young masters of the Undying Realm. The other was one of the 10 great fairies of the Undying Realm. Such a perfect couple was naturally the target of envy and jealousy from countless people. This is a grudge between us and young Master Xianzong. Do you want to interfere in this matter? Du Zhu said coldly. He didn't show any respect to the woman just because she was the famous fairy Yuxuan. Young Master Xianzong is a direct descendant of Yunfu Palace. Although you have killed many people of Yunfu Palace, they were only experts recruited by Yunfu Palace. There is still room for negotiation. However, if you kill young Master Xianzong, there will be no room for negotiation. At that time, the relationship between you and Yunfu Palace will be irreconcilable. Morong Yuxuan said. Du Zhu said mockingly. So you are saying that we should thank you for stopping us from killing our enemy? I am only stopping things from developing in a worse direction, Morong Yuxuan said. Du Zhu sneered. Does that mean you're the good guy now? Morong Yuxuan said. I think you have some prejudice against me. There is no prejudice. In our world, there are only friends, strangers, and enemies. We are neither friends nor strangers, so we can only be enemies. Du Zhu's expression was indifferent. He then looked at the others and said, Let's attack them together. Du Zhu was not a pedantic person, even though he wanted to kill young Master Xianzong personally. But now, Morong Yuxuan had appeared in this place. It was not realistic for him to rely on his own strength to kill young Master Xianzong. Morong Yuxuan was simply too powerful. When the others heard Du Zhu's call, they immediately surrounded the two of them. Boom, boom. Various powerful Dharma treasures were unleashed as they charged towards Morong Yuxuan and young Master Xianzong. Young Master Xianzong's face was extremely pale. His heart was burning with rage. He was an honorable person. Now, he was like a stray dog. If Morong Yuxuan had not saved him, he might have died in Du Zhu's hands. The humiliation he had suffered today had almost driven young Master Xianzong crazy. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Right now, he couldn't wait to cut everyone into pieces. However, young Master Xianzong knew that the only thing he could do right now was to break out of the encirclement with Morong Yuxuan. Even if he wanted to take revenge, it would be a matter for the future. Facing the attacks of so many experts, young Master Xianzong's role was very small. After all, the continuous battles had exhausted young Master Xianzong. Apart from the exhaustion, young Master Xianzong had also suffered from serious injuries. Therefore, his combat strength had fallen to the bottom. Therefore, young Master Xianzong was no longer a threat. If they wanted to break out of the encirclement, they still had to rely on Morong Yuxuan. Facing the attacks of everyone, Morong Yuxuan waved her hand gently. Suddenly, with her as the center, the space around her started to distort violently. Everyone's Dharma treasures were blocked by the distorted space. In the distorted space, there was a mysterious light shadow door. It was condensing. That mysterious door of light and shadow was clearly a teleportation door. Space Dao. Lin Feng was surprised. Morong Yuxuan wasn't a simple woman. The reason why the space around her was distorted was because she used Space Dao. As for the gate of light and shadow, it was actually a spatial gate. This was also an application of the way of space. The light shadow door condensed by Space Dao could teleport them out. Once they were teleported to another place, it would not be easy to find them again. Amazing, amazing. Fairy Yuxuan's reputation is well deserved. Lin Feng walked towards Murong Yuxuan step by step. After hearing Lin Feng's voice, Murong Yuxuan looked at Lin Feng. In fact, she had also seen Lin Feng before, but she did not take Lin Feng seriously. After all, Lin Feng was so young and was a human cultivator. This made Murong Yuxuan subconsciously despise Lin Feng. But at this moment, Murong Yuxuan frowned slightly. Previously, she had always thought that Lin Feng was a junior of one of the cultivators in Du Zhu's group. This time, she brought Lin Feng along to broaden his horizons. But now, it seemed that this was not the case. Lin Feng seemed to be the backbone of this group. This made Murong Yuxuan very surprised. She was a little surprised that he was so young. How did Lin Feng convince the crowd? If he could really do this, it was enough to show that Lin Feng was extraordinary. Seeing Lin Feng walk over, Murong Yuxuan struck out with the power of space. The power of space formed layers of distorted space in the void. Murong Yuxuan wanted to use this method to block Lin Feng. Murong Yuxuan's cultivation of space Dao was also quite deep. Otherwise, her attainments in the Dao of space wouldn't be so high. However, it was obviously not easy for her to use space Dao to block Lin Feng's footsteps. This was because Lin Feng's attainments in space Dao were also extremely high. Lin Feng walked through the layers of distorted and folded void. He quickly approached Murong Yuxuan. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.